Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to my live stream show. It's been a while since I've done one of these, and, well, that's because I'm a lazy son of a bitch who's taken way too long to get back to doing a live stream show. I'd like to welcome my co-host, Rox, and a good buddy of mine named Justin. Introduce yourselves, gentlemen.
You want to go first, Justin?
Sure, I guess, why not? Hello, everyone, it's the Rap Metal Guru here. I just wanted to say, hey, it's good to be here. I'm actually very psyched, I'm very happy, and I'm actually very energetic. I'm also doing pretty well. So, you're next.
Hey, everyone, I'm Rox, yet again, here with Stevie, and it's good to be back. I mean, it's been a while since we did one of these.
Oh, yeah, like, what is it, like 2-3 months?
January, February, March... April, May, June, July, August, like 8 months actually.
So yeah, we've kind of been a while. But it's a good feeling to get back now that I've got enough time to start doing these weekly now. So where do we even start? I'm sure everybody saw my video yesterday on this vegan gains guy. Oh my god.
Oh god.
Oh, the shit was brutal to watch. I'm sure most people out there have seen his original video on this. What did you guys think? Because, I mean, that shit was just hard to watch.
Oh, dude, I already made my own 2 cents in my own video response. I thought that, in comparison, like, I thought, like, the passionate anger that I was spewing out was passionate. Like, in comparison to yours was the most passionate of them all. I mean, compared.
But I was raw. I mean, like, what else was there to say? I mean, I've never heard anything like that in my fucking life, where somebody can be that callous about someone who they were just at the funeral of. I mean, you know, he said the guy abused him and all that, and I understand that can be pretty rough on somebody. I went through that from people in my life myself, but I'm not going to sit there and go online and say, yeah, I'm happy this motherfucker is dead. I mean, maybe if they were Hitler or something, I don't know. To me, it sounded hella intentional. You know, he knew the guy was
Yeah.
82. He knew he was old as shit. And if you look at the whole video and see where he takes the little drone off from, he's in the middle of fucking nowhere. You know, I mean, like, how do we know how long he had this guy walking around out there?
Yeah. You had like I watched this video, then I was trying to do a video of my own on him, but it was just like I can't do a video on this guy. It just irritates me and just infuriates me so much. A piece of shit who looks like his body looks like Solid Snake's stealth suit is going on saying, "Well, my grandfather." I'm
It
serious.
does, and his head is shaped like a light bulb. I wish I had remembered to do that in my video because I had a light bulb on my desk for whatever reason, and it was the same shape as his skull. And I'm like, what the fuck?
But like, I remember like when you made a certain reference point. I mean, I think this is the point that me, Stout, Frost, and myself, and you made all of it like with the same video that we had. We like concluded a pattern of someone who actually recorded someone like in a very severe state. And it was obvious what came to our attention, and it was the same person that we talked about before. And you know, if you just glue it together, I mean, there's really no. There really shouldn't be an explanation for who the person is. I mean, we obviously know, but
Yeah.
you know, it was just
It's
too
the same
obvious.
behavior. Yeah. A guy who likes onions too much, and we'll get into that guy later because he's got something unbelievably insane. But yeah, no, it's the same thing. You know, it's like what's with vegans recording people having heart attacks and mental breakdowns? I didn't know that not eating a steak caused you to be fucking insane.
Oh my god! And what pissed me off so much was that and this is only coming from his mouth though, is that he says that it was because of his diet, which there was no like documentation of proof, or like from a word from a doctor who claims, well, this is what happened and such and such. I mean, if it was at least for documentary purpose, regardless of the fact that it was exploitation, then the least that they could, like, or what he could do, I'm sorry, I'm sucking at the language today, but at least what he could have done is that, thank you, I'm sorry, but at least what he could have done was got documentations or, a response from the doctor confirming that's what really happened, rather than just saying it was because of his dietary choice. I mean, to extort someone so much to that stance, being the fact that they're 82 years old, I mean, that's going to do so much for you, and in a very bad way, that is, in a severe case. I mean, especially when you actually suffered a heart attack before at the age of 60.
Yeah, like I said in my video, my granddad is like 85 years old, and he's still a very active guy. But I've been having to convince my dad to help him out with stuff around the house, like a lot of the yard work and all that, because even if at that age you don't want to admit it, you end up either having another heart attack and having to hit the brick wall of, well, shit, I'm not really in the same shape I used to be anymore. And in Vegan Gain's video, he fucking admits that his old man was saying this. Like, look, I'm not a young guy anymore. I mean, what thought process is somebody going through? They turn the fuck around, and instead of saying, hey, dude, you know what? You may be not feeling good. We're going to go home. You just start bitching at him about your fucking diet. I mean, like, you sound fucking real, man.
And the thing about it was... Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was actually planning on buying a pizza, like a big meaty pepperoni pizza, just for the show. So if he ever sees the show, I can go, "Hey, Vegan Gains, fuck you, you asshole."
Yeah, just buy a giant fucking Reuben or something like that. That's nothing but a pile of meat in between two halves of bread.
Oh yeah.
What I think is great is the whole weightlifter community on YouTube is basically going after this guy too. Ever since he did that, he did a video about, like, he wanted to, I think, actually he'd uploaded it, I think, the video of his granddad having a heart attack, but took it down. I wonder if there's anybody out there who grabbed it, because I told my fiance about this last night, and she immediately went, you need to send that shit to the police.
Just, oh man, I mean, there's so much to say, but yeah, I can't grasp the right sentence to put it at, because it's, first of all, it's beyond monotonous. It's actually completely morbid at that point, and it's the one thing, I've said this before in my video too, but the one thing that really offended me is how he made us smirk after saying that he knew that his grandfather wasn't going to live to, around the end of the year. That's what pissed
Oh
me
yeah.
off even more.
Yeah.
He said he called it, which to me is like, well, okay, so what, did you want to drag him out there and stress his health out until he had a heart attack? Maybe it really was a good idea for you if you want to try to get away with this jackass to take your video down. Thank God everyone mirrored it. Fuck, it's everywhere now.
There's so many things that I actually should have put in that video that I made. I was going to say, I said, my great-grandfather, he was about a little bit older than, 80-something. I think he was, in his 90s. I could be a little bit wrong, but he couldn't even get out of his chair. And I was only a little kid back then. But, saying in comparison, you can't really expect someone to be just healthy, because of their age. That's redundant of themselves to think that, yes, there's some people, like you said before, Stevie, there's, what was his name again? He was
Jack LaLanne.
Yeah, and he was able to I guess overcome some some odds with muscle and all that, but not everyone else can be that way.
Well, Jack LaLanne, he was like an old fitness guy from way back in the day. He was around when my grandpa was younger and stuff. And he was like one of the original big time fitness guys. He would be working out every single day and always staying in shape. And he was always one of these people that advocated that you exercise and stay in good health. But he ate steaks, he ate burgers and all this other stuff. But he just kept himself in good physical condition. Now, not everybody can be like that. When this guy was, like I said, was 70-fucking-5, he pulled a boat across the English Channel with his fucking teeth, and I'm not even making that shit up. He did that. Not everybody's gonna be fucking Superman, but it's it's not up to me to sit there and say that you're a bad person for being a vegan or vegetarian. Even when Mendham did his videos on me, I'm like, dude, you missed my fucking point, and obviously you didn't pay attention to what that Freely girl was saying. I don't have a fucking problem with people that are vegans or vegetarians. I just have a problem with somebody that wants to sit there and shove their fucking lifestyle down my fucking throat. And that's what this vegan gains guy is trying to do in his video, where he's saying, you see, this is what happens to you when you don't eat vegetarian or you don't eat vegan, you have a heart attack and die. And it's just like, how the fuck do you expect people to take you seriously? Not everybody is going to sit there and look like a roid addict like you from one friggin' bench press. And I'm sorry, I've seen his other videos after this. He looks like he really does roids. I'm not going to lie. He's bulked up to that point where it's beyond a bodybuilder's build. You can kind of tell that he's had some quote-unquote assistance along the way.
Kind of explains why he might be compensating for,
Yeah, he shrank his dick and roids.
Yeah. But one thing I didn't mention, and I'm not exactly sure because I've been scrolling to see if that video of his, the one that he made explaining about the whole thing, he actually privated that video. Am I correct?
Yeah, he privated it. I don't know if he straight up deleted it, but I know when this all went down, he initially privated the video.
Okay, and the point I wanted to make about that is if he surely believed in what he said and surely believed, and regardless, I know it's an offensive thing for him to say, but if he truly believed that's something that from his own message, he wouldn't have taken that video down to begin with. It's something that certain people, I can reference, but I'm going to say certain people have to learn from their mistakes, and when I learn from my mistakes, I don't really take down videos because, I did something wrong. I had some videos that back then before, like when I was known as the Metallica guru at one time. But I left those videos up because I wanted to learn from that stuff. And I even made, and I'm not trying to go off too topic here, but just a little quick side note. I made a video over PewDiePie before, and I made a mistake about it. And still to this day, I look back at it and I can tell the difference in the dislikes and likes, but it's something to learn from. If I really meant what I said by it, which I truly did, I left the video up. But it was also something to learn from. So in comparison to Vegan Gains, if he truly believed in his message, he would have actually kept that video up.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a matter of integrity, I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, did you, when I saw it, I was like, oh, I'm sorry, did you realize you may have admitted too much in this video and now you feel shitty for putting it up? To reference Onion Fucker, it's like when he put up those videos of, that girl he was dating having a mental breakdown. He took those down because of all the fucking hatred he got. And it's like, it's like him and this guy. It's like, what did you fucking think? Did you think that when people saw this, they were going to receive it well? Did you think that people wanted to listen to you exploit your loved one's death so you could make a stupid fucking point about cabbage eating? You know, people aren't going to pay attention to what you have to say about your vegan diet because they're too busy going, what the fuck is wrong with you?
I'm pretty sure that in a couple of weeks he's going to be like, let me re-explain myself here. I know what I did was fucked up and everything, but you don't understand. I'm superior because I eat lettuce like it's my job.
Right? Yeah, you know, you sit at the lettuce factory and you test lettuce.
I mean, and the thing about this is, and like what Stevie pointed out, because me and Stevie actually, you know, in common, because we actually work out too, and we actually eat meat in some ways. I don't really know, like everyone. I'm just saying, you know, from what I know, because me and Stevie, we go to the gym, but you know, we work out in the process. We try to actually be healthy. You know, it doesn't really matter because I eat both plants and animals, but you know, I still try to maintain that health.
And sometimes people.
Yeah, obviously. You know,
yeah. I like how you agreed to that. Like, yeah, I eat people too.
That's not what I really meant, but okay. Oh shit, I messed up. Oh well. But like what I was trying to say is that trying to maintain, you know, a healthy system within the body, you know, it's not really mainly about eating too. I mean, there are also things that you have to also contribute within that process of a dietary process. So, you know, you got to exercise a bit. Maybe, you know, try to take some boxing lessons, you know, do some push-ups or lift weights. You got to do something that actually puts some, you know, effort into. I mean, it's not always just about
Well,
eating,
I don't think that he's advocating that you can become just like him just from solely being a vegan. I think he's advocating working out on top of it too. But then that comes into the problem is if you don't have enough proteins or you don't drink any milk because they're vegans who don't drink milk, you're not getting enough calcium in there. So you can be as bulked up as you want to be and still have weak bones. You know,
yeah.
Your guy could, you know, beat the shit out of a guy like that, and if he doesn't have enough calcium, it's like, holy crap, you're like a big soft bag of rocks. What the fuck? You know?
Oh, yeah.
Because I've done martial arts for
once,
about 15 years now, and you don't really want to be like one of these kind of people like Vegan Gains. It's actually not really healthy for you to live the way a guy like him does. It's not. You have to have some sort of. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. I'll fucking shut up.
It's okay. It's like I'm wondering if you just punch him, like, does it like end up like a Mortal Kombat X-ray punch, like it just shatters all his bones?
I don't know. I think your arm sinks in all the way to the elbow.
So I just hit him.
Some slow-mo scream in there too.
It's like punching a sumo. Your arm gets stuck, and then he bites it off with his stomach or something. I don't know.
He's the Thing in disguise.
Right.
Just.
Oh yeah, I was watching that movie the other day where the guy puts the defibrillators on and bites off his arms.
Oh, the Thing.
God. The Thing, yeah, that was John Carpenter.
Oh Jesus, man, it's been a while since I've seen it.
I was thinking of doing a show I was actually thinking of doing a show in the future about horror movies, or at least having that as a topic in the future. I think people would want to hear that.
Yeah,
because I have such a fucking huge collection of them. Go ahead.
The ending was like so suspenseful. It's like you don't know who is who. I'm not trying to give away spoilers, and I do apologize if you haven't seen it before to anyone watching.
Yeah, it's fucked up, dude. That whole movie is the most tense fucking movie ever. The remake of it was fucking awful. But
actually, that was a prequel.
It was? I couldn't tell.
Yeah,
I just thought it sucked because they used CG instead of practical effects.
Actually, yeah, you're right, because I do remember, and I'm not going to try to spoil something. Let's just say, like, the ending, it showed a familiar character, and it actually just went right into the beginning of the original Thing, but they kind of, like, ended right there. And then when you had the original Thing, you know, that's where it kind of, like, went into.
I know they made a video game off the Thing years and years back, and I was trying to get a copy of it because apparently it was a pretty good survival horror game. It was a PC game.
I think it was also like a trust factor game. Like you would actually have a team, and like depending on what you.
Yeah, that was it. You had to basically keep reassuring their trust and stuff. And if it went too far down, like if you let the meter go too far down, they would mutiny on your ass, which I thought was an interesting mechanic for a game at the time. I'd never really seen one that had something quite like that. It was really interesting.
Yeah.
But anyway, moving along, and because we spoke about him a couple of times just a minute ago, Onion Boy has got another book coming out. You're gonna love this. It's called This Is Why I Hate You, and he's releasing it on 9/11.
Oh
my
Jesus
God.
Christ! Lord Almighty benevolence.
I'm not even fucking shitting you. I'm gonna send you guys the link here on Facebook so you can check it out yourself. It's on Amazon. It's called This Is Why I Hate You. It's insane. I mean, like, if you think that's bad enough, this is the description. Within these pages wait violent fights, disease, death, controversy, sexuality, tragedy, and crime. So, yeah, totally I want to read this. This journal, yeah, he's calling it a journal. This journal documents a hateful young man's path to darkness. Many events that occur are based on real events. You will find many moments from the author's own life sewn into the life of Arthur Gale. Okay. You can only go so far before all hope of return is lost. This book reaches that part and goes even further. James represented the light. Arthur is the dark. There's no hero. There's only Arthur. What the fucking fuck? That's the description.
Talk about edgy, man. It's like
he
he's so
took
edgy. He
every
was a
single-
fucking Edgewater.
It's like he took every single post in our cringe and managed to make a diatribe out of it. Honestly, this is oh my god! Like his last book was just fucking poorly written and it was just stupid. This is just nuclear. And it's only 111 pages. The last one was about 114, so.
When I first heard about this book and everything, I turned into Ego Raptor, just like, what is this? What? I'm sorry for anyone who has headphones on. Just, what is this?
God.
You know, there's.
He's got text-to-speech enabled on this, so you could actually have your Kindle read it to you. I have to fucking hear it in the Kindle voice.
Oh, boy. What kind of black magic fuckery is this?
I have no idea.
Oh, gosh.
His last book basically exploited Columbine. He put a fucking Columbine scene in it.
Oh my
For
God.
real. He had like a whole chapter that there was a character named Seth shooting up his school, and from what he describes, because I mean he's so bad at writing, you can't fucking figure out like what he's trying to get across. While the school shooting is happening in this book, he's like roller skating through a school shooting trying to find his girlfriend. I'm like, what? What was Chris Chan your fucking editor for real?
Oh gosh, too many.
I mean, like, there's so many levels of stupid in this. Like, he gets to a point where, like, I don't want to make the comparison, but it's just there. Maybe he has a Sonichu medallion we don't know about.
I made a couple years ago. I did make a comparison between Onision and Chris Chan on Tumblr because about like every video you see of Onision, he's always wearing a striped shirt, and it's just like, and he has like all.
You're right.
And he always has women. He always has these girl problems and everything. Although for Chris it's always trolls, but for Onision it's always real girls. But it's like these two are like broken off from the same mold or something like that. Like both from abusive households and everything.
Maybe Barb had more than one kid.
Actually, Chris has a half brother from Barb too.
Oh God.
He has a half brother.
Is he?
Yeah, he actually does not
like
want
someone normal. What's that?
Oh yeah, he has. He's a internet reviewer. He basically reviews movies and everything. He does not want anything to do with Chris or Barb, which I can understand why.
Is he a guy on YouTube that has just an absolutely massive collection of DVDs that take up every single room of his house? Or is that somebody else? Because I've seen a guy who's like that.
No, his name is Cole Smithy.
Oh, okay. No, that's somebody. There's a guy I found on YouTube once who has such a massive collection of DVDs that it takes up every single fucking room in his house. Like, they're all on the walls. He has literally boxes and stacks of them. I'm like, dude, you're a fucking hoarder. but he reviews them and he makes fuckloads of money of ad revenue by reviewing them. So I'm like, well, you've taken your hoarding addiction and managed to financially benefit from it, I guess. I thought it was the same guy.
No. I mean, for me, like, I want to get into internet reviewing, but I'm going to need a Netflix account just to get a hold of the movies. I should really get on to that.
Well, speaking of reviews, I'm actually going to start doing a lot more album reviews in the future. This Saturday is when my album review for Mechanical Spin Phenomena by Nemec is coming out, and I'm really excited for this. I mean, I've got such a huge fucking collection of music. Like, I was just talking about somebody else with a huge collection. I've got such a huge fucking collection of music. I mean, I don't even know what the hell to do with it all other than, well, review what I've got, you know? And I'm excited to start doing something like that because everybody's like, well, you know, you've done the ranting thing for so long. Why don't you do, like, movie reviews and all that? And I'm like, well, movie reviews are fun, but they're kind of a pain in the ass because you've got to sit there and you kind of got to download the image of the DVD so you can cut footage from it and stuff for your review. I mean, I've watched how people on That Guy with the Glasses do it, and, you know, I mean, they're really good at what they do. Don't get me wrong. I love the Nostalgia Critic. Actually, Brad Jones is my favorite off the whole site. But movie reviews, I might do at a later time when it's a little easier for me to do it, you know, because it's a big time-consuming pain in the ass.
Oh, yeah. Freaking, yeah, that guy with the glasses, Dog Walker, Nostalgia Critic. I believe I put him on the YouTube Hall of Fame thing, if I'm correct. I'm still actually doing an update on that, not to get off topic, but I just forgot about that, and I just need to get back to work on that. But yeah, that's just more than I wanted to say right there. I just forgot about that.
It's cool. It's cool, but you know, I mean, like album reviews is something I don't know if like a lot of people are really doing on YouTube. I've seen a few channels that do album reviews and stuff, but I don't know. I'm not trying to sound conceited. I really don't. I like a lot of the few people that I've been able to find that do them. It's just I don't really think it's a very tapped into, for lack of a better word, market on YouTube. So when I tried my hand at it with the Birthday Massacre review, I mean, everybody seemed to really like it. So that's why I want to continue doing it in the future.
I think everybody just do.
Everybody wanted me to review Obsolete by Fear Factory, so I think out of the two, the new album that they just put out and Obsolete, I think Obsolete won out of the two. Because it was like, if you looked at the comments for the video, it was pretty fucking unanimous which one people wanted, which is great because that's my favorite album by Fear Factory. I think it's the best one that they have ever put out in terms of, you know, production quality. I mean, it's one of the few records I can sit down and listen to the whole thing start to finish without like skipping a track, and that's a huge criteria for me when it comes to like picking a rating for an album. That's always the hardest part too with the reviews, is actually finding a rating for them, because you want to be balanced and fair. You know, you don't want to sit there and accidentally make it sound like an album that is pretty good just plain sucks by giving it a low rating. So picking a number to attribute to it is actually a lot more difficult for me than you'd think.
I know there's like a lot of musicians recently bringing out new albums. One of them, I knew Blind Guardian came out with one earlier this year. One of the musicians.
I love those guys.
I'm actually going to a concert they're having down here. So.
Oh, you lucky motherfucker.
Hey, just come down to Florida and we can go together, man.
Well, that requires money, and money is a very rare thing. It's rarer than the rarest Pepe meme.
Yes, I've actually found a rare Pepe meme. It's of him like as Morton Joe.
I wonder what the guy who fucking came up with that stupid frog cartoon thinks of all this. Like, isn't it just some random French guy out of, like, nowhere, France, who made that or something?
Who knows?
Because I know that Pepe actually is a cartoon, or he's like just a children's book character from France. It just makes me wonder, what does this guy think? Because I know the guy who was Bad Luck Brian found the meme, and they actually found him, and he's totally okay with it. He's actually had an incredibly successful life, which is the funniest thing. He's always pegged in the meme for having bad luck, but in real life, he's actually really successful. I think he owned a business that's doing really well or something.
Yeah, it's like who else became an internet meme? Crap. I saw I've seen some on 4chan, and usually people go out of their way to make really fucked up memes on 4chan. I remember one time like a family who had a Down syndrome daughter who tried to sue 4chan because of that.
Oh, the I can count to potato girl.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just like, well, someone's actually trying to take 4chan to court. That's new.
Actually, 4chan's been to court plenty of times, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
This is a funny thing, too, of people that get kind of paranoid about stuff. Like, the FBI actually has a version of 4chan that they can use. No, I'm not kidding. Basically, what it is like threads that get illegal material, like, child porn or whatever, posted in them. They're automatically cached. So if they expire on the site, they don't expire onto the version that they're using. They have like a custom version that they can use to track people who put that shit up. So yeah, 4chan has been to court a whole bunch of times for stuff like this. The guy who runs it, I'm surprised he's in as good standing with the law as he is, apparently. Because when you have a site that's unmoderated and people anonymously post anything on there, you'd figure that this guy would be getting into a fuckload more trouble than he has. He's gotten more shit over the whole Gamergate thing than anything else. What's his name? Moot, I think. Moot, motherfucker. But yeah, no, the album reviews. Anyway, bringing it back, yeah, the album reviews, I'm excited to do that. And another thing I wanted to talk about was the revival of a lot of new metal bands that is coming back. Bands like Korn and Coal Chamber, even like Fear Factory can be argued as one because they had a couple albums that fell into that category. And I'm kind of happy for that. I liked a lot of that music, like Deftones and stuff is one of my favorite bands. People, they kind of gave me shit on it when I said that in a previous video a long time ago because they're like, they always equate nu metal to bands like Limp Bizkit and stuff. And I think even they get an unfair rap because it's more, people have more of a problem with Fred Durst instead of the band Limp Bizkit itself. Like, I can understand why they have kind of a problem with him because he seems like he just comes off like a giant douchebag. But I've always thought that Wes Borland was a great guitar player. I've always thought that the drummer for Limp Bizkit is just freaking great.
I often refer to Fred Durst as Fred Derpy Durst for some reason. I have no idea why. It just came through.
What?
Fred Derpy Durst.
Fred Derpy Durst. Well, he is kind of a derp. I mean, he, back in the day, he would start so much fucking shit with people. He would try to say that he would bring a band on tour with them, and then he would just cancel at the last minute and shit like that. Or Limp Bizkit would be scheduled to play somewhere, and then they would just cancel out of nowhere. And that kind of shit is really unprofessional. I don't think it's a reflection on the other musicians in the band, though. I never have. I just thought it was a reflection on Fred Durst. And then that whole thing at Woodstock, if you guys know about that, where people were burning shit, also wasn't cool.
Holy shit. I mean, now it's to realize it, like, didn't Jonathan Davis from Korn actually have, like, some beef with Fred Durst back in the day?
Yeah, he was really pissed off that he did that. Basically, they incited a riot. They really wanted to get the crowd going and all this stuff, and then they didn't realize that these people are basically drunk out of their fucking minds, and people that are like that are not going to be very level-headed. So they got on one of their songs and started getting the crowd going more and more and more and more, and then they realized that they were just burning porta potties and breaking shit and all this other stuff. Ended up causing a fire, and a few people got hurt. That's why I don't think they do a whole lot with Woodstock anymore because of that shit, which, great. America doesn't get enough big festivals and stuff as it is. We need kind of more of those. I was going to go to Carolina Rebellion, but then, again, money is in short supply, plus there's shit scheduling conflict. I love big festival shows like that. I wish the prices for things there weren't so fucking outrageous. Here's a $6 beer. Fuck that. No, I'm not paying you that.
That's how much they charge for waters back in Ozfest.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. The thing that'll keep you alive in the boiling heat.
Yeah.
And I ended up getting a sunburn that day. Especially when you're paying for that much of water, which is bullshit.
How much were the tickets straight up? I mean, if the water was that much.
Oh, dude, to get good enough seats, I think it was about like $100, just depending though. But if you wanted like field access, I think it was about maybe 130, 150. But like,
Jesus
I guess for
Christ.
like for VIP passes, I guess I think those were about like 300. And this is like considering this is like back in like what 207, 208. I could be wrong. Like nowadays, I think they're like 400, $500.
That's fucking ridiculous. That's why people don't want to go to these things anymore. That's a ridiculous amount of fucking money to spend. You know? I mean, I liked what, back in Las Vegas, I mean, you'd know about this, Justin, back when Extreme Radio wasn't just a fucking shit station that played just the crappiest music ever. They used to play nothing but fucking metal bands. You know, they throw like Beastie Boys and stuff in there, whatever, you know, was really big in the 90s, but they would play almost nothing but metal, and then they had a fucking concert called Our Big Concert, and it was like 4 days of nothing but bands like System of a Down, Static X, fucking, dude, it was awesome, you know. The cool thing about me is when I went, like, I perpetually kind of looked like I'm in my mid-20s ever since I was like 14. So I was able to kind of bullshit my way in there, you know?
Oh, man, if only I could pull off a look like that.
Oh, it was great, you know. It was a fucking amazing show, though. I mean, they had Rob Zombie and stuff, like, headlining and all this other shit. And now they don't even bother doing shows that much. Like, Rock in Rio in Vegas, I think, was the last biggest one I heard out of there.
Oh, man, you had to remind me of Rock in Rio.
Oh, you didn't get to go?
Yeah, I didn't get to go. I got pissed off. I was waiting for VIP tickets to, like, come out. Like, I didn't care, like, how much they were. I always wanted to meet Metallica at Rock in Rio, and then I got so pissed off. It was like I didn't want to even look at the Rio driving by, and sure enough, oh, God.
Yeah, no, when I saw the bands that were going to be on that, I'm like, motherfucker, I wish I had the cash just to come back and fucking see this shit. I heard that Bruce Dickinson fucking yelled at somebody who was doing some stupid shit in the crowd in, like, the middle of one of their tracks. I think it was in the middle of, like, Wasted Years or something. He just stopped singing. He yelled at a guy for pushing somebody.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I wish I had some money to go to, like,
fuck with Bruce Dickinson. I mean, he's a cool-ass motherfucker to still keep doing them songs, like, you know, 35 years later. I've always loved Iron Maiden. Like, I know that you really love Metallica, Justin. For me, it's like bands like Iron Maiden and stuff like that, but I still have yet to see Metallica, man. I have to see that, like, once in my life before one of them fucking kicks the bucket, hopefully Lars.
Dude, oh shit. Yeah, dude,
I can get a better drummer.
I remember back in the day, like, you know, it was actually during Ozfest back in the day, you know, when it was their very first Ozfest show. You know, they got to play Cyanide, which was the very first time that anyone else got to hear it live. And, like, I've got the CD to it. I mean, I'm not sure. I think I have maybe some footage that's still lying around here, but I had 2 discs from a friend of mine who actually recorded the show because he was out in the stand. And he actually got, like, these pictures up front in the up row. And he happens to be a friend of my mom, and he ended up giving me these discs for the live show. And I was just like, holy shit! I mean, and I'm not one to brag, because, you know, I don't think that I can start something that new. But I do remember one time, it was their 3rd song. I believe it was From Whom the Bell Tolls. While everyone else is just cheering, I'm just going, I. Everyone else is going through. Everyone starts following along, and all of a sudden James Hetfield starts doing that. I was like, oh my gosh, I think I just started what I think I've always wanted to do.
That's always an awesome feeling. That's why I've always wanted to go see them in concert. You know, people may think that Metallica is a cheesy band, but I'm like, you know what? Look at the following that they've gotten over the years. There's a fucking reason for it. It's because they're actually fucking really good. You know, I was watching Orion Fest one year with my buddy Charlie on Tiny Chat. He lives about 20 minutes from where it was at, and I'm like, dude, if I lived out where you are, I would totally just say, fuck it, we're sneaking in. Fuck it. I would have picked him up and just gone. You know, we watched the whole thing. It was like, what, 3 hours, I think. We watched the whole thing, start to finish.
But, like, I've always wanted to meet James Hetfield and all these other guys. I mean, and also I've always wanted to meet Tribute to, which, by the way, their new album comes out in October, I believe.
Awesome.
which
I
is
love Trivium, man. They've got such an old school Metallica vibe going on with a lot of their riffs and stuff. Matt Heafy is a fucking sick guitar player.
hell
He's
yeah.
fucking young as hell too. When they got big, I mean, he was around the same age, I was about at the time. He was about like 18 or 19, and it fucking blows me away of how good of a guitarist he is. I mean, like his leads and solos, man, he's mind blowing.
Oh, dude, hell yeah. And not to mention, like, their new song that came out, and before I get to this point, I just want to say, like, they actually made their song sound like a Batman theme at the very beginning. I mean, they actually pulled off something that makes a good reference to a Batman theme. I shit you not. And I even have the song, but I can't do that because of copyright purposes. But,
Yeah.
The way he sings is pretty cool. And the one thing that a lot of people have a problem with is that, well, he's not doing the screams or he's not doing the rough vocals, and that's what people are trying to, they really jump the gun on saying, oh, well, it's going to suck because it's not like, Ascendancy, it's not like Ember to Inferno, but, like, it's the same thing when you can go with a Metallica album or from another album. I mean, Testament, I can't really say, because a lot of people actually do like Testament to this day all the way through because they've actually managed to pull out some very good tracks, and it's not really controversial enough to people for them to argue.
I like early Testament. I haven't really given them a good listen in years, though.
Oh yeah, I still have their album. I think it's the New Order, New World Order. I could be wrong, but I still have that one. But when you look at bands like Trivium and Metallica, controversially enough, because if it doesn't sound like it did back in the day, it's not going to be good from the records. But the problem with what people are not getting is that sometimes you have to change, in order to actually expand to, a listening audience. I mean, I get Black Album was something that drastically changed, and a lot of people didn't like it, but they actually did something about it. But what people missed the point is that you don't always have to be a fast band to be heavy. I mean, heavy is heavy.
Look at Typo Negative. Some of their tracks are like fucking heavy as shit, but they're also slow as a motherfucker.
And then even look at Opeth. I mean, you look at Opeth.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. When you look
Opeth
at like,
is just like breaks down into like folk music out of nowhere on some of their albums.
From
but
like their what was their album? I think it was. Let me look at that real quick. I'm thinking this is wrong. I mean, because their other album, which was Damnation, which was actually their song. Now they actually took a huge risk doing that, and it pretty much paid off because you didn't just hear, good acoustic violin. I mean, you heard something that was so beautiful beyond an imagination. You didn't have to have metal into it. And it was Ghost of Perdition, by the way. That was the album. I didn't even look that up.
that was a great album. And even with bands like Ghost and stuff, like a lot of their music also isn't like speed metal, but they're also a pretty heavy band at times too. Fuck, I've been getting more into that band as time goes on. I swear to God, the influences that show through in their music is amazing. I mean, like, I was listening to the new album, I think it's called Meloria, and it leaked recently. And, yeah, fuck it, I got a copy. I'm not going to fucking sit there and lie. I wanted to check this damn thing out for a long time. It's great. I mean, you hear influences like Alice in Chains in there, all the way to stuff like The Doors and, like, early Led Zeppelin and Blue Oyster Cult. I mean, bands that most people around our age probably don't even know anything about or have never even heard of. And I think it's great that they're broadening people's horizons by showcasing influences like that without directly, straight up ripping off that classic sound. They kind of just nod to it here and there on the album. It's fucking great, goddamn great album.
And there's just so many things that I could actually go with. I mean, Killswitch Engage is another example. I mean, there's a bit of change-ups to there. Well,
Killswitch Engage comes back to the whole nu metal thing that I was talking about earlier. I mean, they had a lot of that on their very first album. Their first big album. Their first album was more like kind of a label debut, but their first real true album was Alive or Just Breathing, and it had a lot of that in there, But it brought people to a new horizon because it had like a little bit of that nu metal tinge in it, but it was more early-ass metalcore, I guess, before metalcore turned into shit.
That was like back in the Jesse Leach days, like the early Jesse Leach days.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and don't get me wrong. Oh, sorry.
I got upset when he left the band because I love the other guy. What's his name? John Howard?
Howard Jones?
Or Howard Jones. John Howard is somebody. I don't know who the fuck that is. I think he's the guy who sings for Threat Signal because my brain's all screwed up. But Howard Jones, anyway, yeah, he's a great singer. I just like Jesse Leach's voice for Kill Switch a little bit better. I mean, there was much more of a rawness to it. And he's back in the band now, isn't he?
Yep, he is. As a matter of fact, I'm not sure. I think they have a new album coming out. And one thing I wanted to point out is that I freaking love Howard Jones' voice as well when it comes to Killswitch Engage. And he actually manages to pull a very strong, clean and rough, and even the screaming vocals in there. And true enough. But I'm just gonna say I like Jesse Leach's vocals a tad bit better because he's probably one of the only vocalists within that. I mean, there's probably other vocalists that have done that, but who managed to actually pull a tearjerker on me with one of their songs. I will not lie. If you've heard of Always, if seen the music video for that, that will be a real tearjerker for you guys. It will reduce you to tears, but I do mean that in a very good way. And
they're manly tears.
Tears of
I'm not crying. I'm watering my beard.
I mean, it's sort of painful to watch in a good way, but it's some way that you understand, like within vocals, but at least that it's actually sending a message, to the viewers, and not like how, when people that not patronize that, condemn those for they think it's sending the wrong message. But when you look at something like this kind of message that it sends about spending time with the ones that you love so much, that's the kind of message that this song actually kind of gave out, and it's something to really enjoy, and it really brought me to tears when I saw it because, that's kind of how reality is. When you lose someone you love, I mean, it's hard to let go of that stuff, and then, it feels like you're on your own. But, like, at least a song like that can at least show or tell a person, well, you're not the only one. I mean, there's so many people that feel just that way, but it's not saying, like, in a selfish way. I'm saying, like,
yeah,
you're not alone.
that's why a lot of songs are, like, that's why a lot of songs are so powerful, because most people don't realize what it takes to write a fucking song. It's not about just putting lyrics to a piece of music. It's trying to put an emotion to a work of art. It really is.
I mean,
that's why it takes me so fucking long to put a goddamn album out, because after I saw Lachlan's video on one of my tracks, I realized, well, wow, that track really fucking sucks, and maybe I should work a little harder at what I'm doing.
I've actually tried to do vocals for my band, but this is back when I was a little teenage prick back then. Not really like a prick as a dickhead, but like mostly a dumbass. But to this day, I always wanted to do vocals in a band, and I've written out lyrics and I've done all this. I've even written one recently over the Russian sleep experiment, costume, by the way. And so I wanted to just do whatever I could. I mean, I can do clean vocals. I can try a little bit of rough, but I'm not going to do that now because, for one, I don't think anyone wants to hear me at that time. And I'll have to go to a recording studio, by the way, to do that, which I found out about one. But yeah, I always wanted to at least express some sort of emotion when it comes to it. I mean, I've written some, and I'm not saying this to brag, and I'm saying personally to me, I believe I've written some great ones that, it took me almost a lifetime just to even think of how good to put it. And I've only about made like 3 of them. Everything else, it's okay, but I think it needs improvement for it. But I try to look at things like Killswitch Engage, Metallica, Trivium, Tool, all these other people. I mean, they managed to pull off the great means of what it means to put lyrics out. I mean, hell, I'll even try to do an instrumental, like getting drums, step back up. But I always wanted to do this because they always managed to pull a masterpiece of some kind out. Parabola, for example, from Tool, that's one I always wanted to fucking do.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that was my downright favorite there.
Somebody asked what are my least favorite nu metal bands, and I don't really have a least favorite because I'm pretty open-minded about a lot of music, but I will say that when Vanilla Ice tried his hand at it, I wanted to basically put a 357 to both of my ears and just squeeze both triggers.
Wait. He tried to do...
Yeah, he did. Apparently he did. I've only heard like a clip of it, and I'll probably get copyrighted if I play it in the stream, otherwise I would. But I mean, it's fucking awful.
I think it's time we do a comparison of Godfuckers.
Oh, good lord. I give that girl the benefit. I give that girl the benefit of the doubt because obviously, she's got something going on. And when I did those videos, and I want to point out again, because somebody kind of blasted me in a private message on YouTube about that video with, what was her name, McKenna something. I have no personal problem with, McKenna Elise Adams. I don't have any personal problems with her or anything like that. It's not about the fact that she might have some kind of autism or whatever. It's just, we're just poking fun at a crappy song. She made something that's kind of stupid. It's what people do on the internet. She's not a bad person inherently because she puts up a stupid song. I mean, fuck. Like I said earlier, look at what Lackland did to one of my fucking demos. Oh, Jesus Christ, that was brutal. It actually helped me goddamn get myself a vocal coach so I could learn how to sing better. That was so brutal. So in a way, thank you. But it doesn't make a person inherently terrible because they make a stupid fucking song. I wanted to point that out because somebody really blasted me. They're saying that I was being mean to a person who has autism. And I'm like, that's not the point of the video, dude. That's not at all.
I remember how she cried to blood on the dance floor about all the people reviewing her music and everything.
Well, that's the wrong people in the world to cry to anything about because fucking Blood on the Dance Floor hates anyone that complains to them about anything because they're fucking assholes. I don't even know how a band like Blood on the Dance Floor can gain fans. Like, I don't see the appeal in it. I haven't really. I did a Stevie Listens To episode about them once. Yeah. I almost wanted to do like a review of one of their songs, but my Stevie Listens To video kind of did it. I haven't really spoken too much about them in depth, but I'm like, honestly, I don't see how the fuck a label took a look at that and said, "Oh yeah, let's market this," because my brain does not compute,
That took me back to the days when I actually did a review with Stoutmeister, Creepy Kells, and Pierce the Bats over their, I think it was their Bad Blood album. Jesus, I mean, it was just the first 30 seconds. I think we were already just fixing the pearl.
I think album is a little bit of a. I think album's a bit of a stretch of a term. I think basically it was that somebody took a shit on a CD and then placed it in a jewel case and gave it to you.
It was about a couple days ago. I went to the mall trying to find because of one of the musicians I listened to, Celldweller, put out a new album, and I was looking for it and everything because he has like this sci-fi motif with his music. And I was looking for it, and this kid with a Blood on the Dance Floor t-shirt asked me if I like Blood on the Dance Floor. I'm like, I don't know if I could curb stomp you legally, or should I just rage and like firebend out of nowhere? It was like, why are you asking a guy in his 20s if he likes a band that molests children? That's like asking a murderer, hey, do you like people who live? Or something like that.
Yeah. Well, yes. I mean, I get into a big crowd of them. It's like a whole buffet. I don't even know where to start. I don't know. Yeah. That reminded me of that. I think what was a Geico commercial where they're running from the guy with a chainsaw, so they go hide behind a wall of chainsaws.
Oh, Jesus.
Let's go hide behind the chainsaws, and he's like, motherfuckers, really? You don't see the Ford with it,
I would love to see that in a Freddy Krueger movie.
They want to remake Nightmare on Elm Street
again.
Yes.
They also do want to do the reboot of Friday the 13th series, actually with Jason Voorhees. That's what I heard.
Oh, you mean with Kane Hodder?
I believe so.
Well, then I'll go see it because Kane Hodder's a badass motherfucker. I've met him at a couple of horror conventions before. He's a cool ass dude. But the reboot of Nightmare on Elm Street, that kind of pisses me off because I've always liked Freddy Krueger as a slasher character because he's got charisma, he's got personality. I didn't mind Jackie Earle Haley's portrayal of him. I thought it was interesting, but then they did up the whole pedo thing, and I'm like, really, dude? Okay, it's bad enough that the original guy was a child murderer. Okay, you got to throw something in there just to be edgy, and now you've just kind of made me not like him as a character. Now I can't really get into your fucking movie. Now I kind of want him to die. Back in the 80s ones, it's like, wow, this guy's a trolling asshole for a slasher. We kind of want him to win because he's just a fucking nut. Especially the third one, where he picks that girl up and, like, pulls her into the TV and shit. You know, that was fucking funny. He's like, "Welcome to prime time, bitch," and then he picks her up and rams her head into a TV. I'm like, what? Or like one movie, he turns a girl into a fucking cockroach, you know?
They need to reboot. The one thing they need to reboot, to me, is the Hellraiser franchise, because that was like, it was like
right,
good. Yeah,
you know,
none of
right with Doug Bradley.
Yeah, none of that whole entire pseudo pinhead guy or whatever. Go back to like the
2 or 3.
Yeah, like I don't know. Go by what the comics did, because the comics for Hellraiser were fucking awesome. It's
Yeah,
like,
they got a new comic series for Hellraiser too.
it's like, go by that, man. Just do that type of thing with the movies.
Well, he's actually written a book. Clive Barker's actually written a book that kind of finalized the whole Hellraiser saga. So I don't know if they want to do, if he wants to continue it or not. He wrote a book that basically kind of is just the final chapter. It closes everything up. A buddy of mine bought it recently, and if he ever gets done reading it, I would love to take a look at it, because I've always loved the original stories too. I wish he had done something with the Tortured Souls. If any of you guys get McFarlane toys or collectibles, Clive Barker did a series with McFarlane called Tortured Souls, which was like Hellraiser on crack.
I heard of it.
It was, yeah, it's the most fucked up shit ever. I wish he would have done something with that. You know, I would have loved to have seen that.
I actually recall something like that before, but I can't remember exactly where. I think this was back either in Texas or Georgia at a collector store once, and I'm not exactly sure because I remember seeing like these figurines too back in the day.
Yeah,
when
they were like
Hellraiser.
Yeah, they were like the Cenobites from Hellraiser, but just way more fucked up. I had a few of these way back in the day. I don't know what the hell I did with them. There was one that was all like stitched up to like a friggin' medical thing with like an IV bag, and it was just like birthing these like demon fetuses. And I'm like, how do you sell this at a toy store? Because it's right up there next to like fucking Spider-Man figures and shit. Like, what happened to the poor fucking? Yeah, I know. Like, what happened to the fucking 5-year-old that got this and brought it and did like, look, mommy,
look, mom, it's a Cenobite with a T virus from Resident Evil.
Yeah, right. It kind of reminds me of what we call
that would be Nemesis, but
was it like the Nightmare Before Christmas? Yeah, what'd you get, honey? You pull out a toy like that out of a present, and then your mom starts screaming.
Well, they made like 12-inch tall versions of the figures too, because McFarlane ones are pretty small. They're only about like 4.5 inches tall, and then he did like fucking super detailed like 12-inch versions as well. I don't know if they're worth anything, but I see them on eBay all the time. You know?
That actually reminds me is that like at the Stephanie Galleria Mall, like I always go to that collector store all the time. They actually relocated, by the way, downstairs. They always have that Predator figure standing in the window. I always wanted to get that so much. I mean, it's so tall. I actually want to stand it like right next to my door or something because it was.
Oh, I think
so
I know
awesome.
which one you're talking about. There's a fucking music store out here that sells something like that. They have a full-size like replica Predator mask. They also have a full-size replica of what is that one gun that Hellboy used in the second movie, the Big Baby or something like that.
Yeah.
I love shit like that. I love collecting stuff like that. You know, like memorabilia props and stuff.
I think your mic's kind of like fading in.
My mic is failing?
Yeah, well, actually, I think it's like fading.
Oh, how about now?
Kind of is.
Try again?
Let me fix that really quick.
Okay.
All right, what about that?
Still kind of faded in there.
Okay, how about now?
There we go.
Yeah, I bumped the volume knob on my mixer for the mic, so I was looking at the different toggles that I had on it, and I'm like, what the fuck I do? There,
It's just like, what happened?
I don't know, but like an old guy ran up and he looked in the camera and yelled, "Fuck her right in the pussy," and then he left.
Oh, son of a bitch.
I've actually seen a guy do a cosplay as that guy.
Oh, you sure it wasn't the actual guy?
It wasn't the actual guy. It was just some dude. It was like 2 years ago at Mocala Comic Con. The guy was doing a cosplay as him, and he just ran in front of people's cameras and just yelled "Fuck her right in the pussy" and just ran off.
I love that guy. I mean, I know those videos are fake now, but like the stupid fucking part of it is he started a thing that just like news anchors hate now. There was a dude who was doing a report about something. It looked like he was on a golf course and there was some shrubbery behind him, and this dude ran up and tried to do it, and he's like, "Oh no, you don't!" And he threw his ass right in the bushes, and they had to cut.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I know, it's like right on TV. He's like, "No, you fucking don't!" And he threw his ass in the bushes. I'm like, wow, that went from one to ghetto in a hurry. Because it was this black dude, and he's trying to be all prim and professional, and he's talking about whatever he's reporting on, and he's like, "Oh, no, you fucking don't!" It was fucking great.
That guy should get an award.
He should get an award. Okay, moving along, since everybody's kind of wondering about what's going on with this whole Flex and Marbles thing, I saw this posted yesterday. They put up something about me on a website, and I kind of want to respond to it here. You know, it goes, for some odd reason out of left field, Stevie's been obsessing over Cloud9. I don't know what that is, but it's something. For the past few weeks, I've done like, you know what, like 2-3 videos. It's not exactly obsessing.
Yeah.
And it says, new accusations ran wild with his update video, claiming we're stealing his idea of creating a website. Jesus, dude. I know you've adopted us as your new Onision, but you need mental help. And like I said, I've done 2 or 3 videos. Okay, the Onision thing, I admit, yeah, it goes kind of overboard at like 40+ videos at one point. But I admire the boldness in making that kind of comparison. Like, for whatever reason, you'd want to be the next Onision. I don't know why anybody would want that, but okay. And it goes, I checked your website out, and it was about you personally. It had no content except pictures of yourself, which is bullshit, because my website's about my YouTube, and it's about my music. You know, it's about all kinds of different fucking things. I even got forums and stuff. Our site's created to produce articles and content from 4 different personalities. Well, that's great. You know, there's a conflict of fucking argument here, because your website and my website are attempting to do 2 completely different things. Okay, I never made a comparison. I'm just saying I think it's ironic that once I reboot my website a long time before I even knew these guys had one, they start doing similar things. You know, they go, we don't even use the same free website creator, which doesn't mean anything. The world doesn't revolve around you, Stevie. The fact you even visited our articles, which had 0 features or mentions of you in them, goes to show how fucked up your head is. Okay, that's bullshit, because they have an article where they start badgering me about my kid.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know.
I saw that.
Yeah, they do. So, bullshit, your articles don't have me in there. So stop with this crap, okay? That's not cool. All right, to sit there and... Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was okay. I do remember, like, there was an article, I think it was from, I think it was on Flex's side, where it says Stevie Strikes Out Again. I could be wrong, it could be on Marvel's, it could be Flex's, I don't know who gives a shit. But it does mention Stevie in there. I mean, come on, I mean,
yeah, it
that's
mentions me, you know, that they're going over the, oh, look, he's a shitty dad and all these kind of things, you know. The same things that the Fun with Logic said, and at least he had the balls to apologize for that stuff.
Yeah.
You know, but they'll just put it up on their site. So don't say that you haven't mentioned me, because you have. You know, so I guess they're going to quickly. Well, I guess they're going to quickly go to their editor and try to redact it from the site. But you know.
Oh, hell no.
What?
It's kind of ironic.
That's...
It's kind of, to me, it's kind of ironic what they're doing. You know, they're saying like, "Oh, look at him, he's a shitty parent and everything," but these guys just go after anyone who's different from them. And hey, it's like, "Oh, you can't attack us, but we can totally go after you and your faults."
Well, they went after Stout about what happened to him and that girl that he was with, and she had a kid. They keep saying he's a crappy parent, and I'm like, you do realize that wasn't biologically his kid, right? That girl had a kid from another relationship. So, you know, you have no fucking right to attack that particular aspect of his life and then say he's a shitty parent because you don't know that's not biologically his child and not 100% his full responsibility. You know.
Yeah.
You know,
I
these
mean,
guys don't. These guys don't know my situation, because if they did, they'd redact that fucking statement about me entirely. They're just going by what they see online, like that's 100% reality. And you know, they go on in this whole thing. You know, I'm not going to read the whole thing because it's just boring, but you know, they go and sit there and say that I threatened to dox and harass them. No, I've never threatened to dox anybody in your stupid group, okay? All right? I've had their doxes sent to me from people, and I didn't do shit with them, okay? I haven't.
yeah.
But, you know, they also go on to sit there and say that I'm completely mentally unstable, and I'm like, where's your fucking proof? People go through crazy things in their life. You know, am I standing outside your door at 4 in the morning with a knife? No, I'm not.
Which, by the way, when I said, oh, hell no, because like when you mentioned, like, in case if they change that, like, if they edit it and all that, that's why I got the 2 screenshots of what they said about you from what Stevie strikes out. So, just
Yeah,
keep that
and
in
I'm
mind.
glad you did that. Because I just think that's funny. We've never mentioned you in any of our articles, and I'm like, yeah, you fucking have. So why would you write an article saying you haven't mentioned me when people screenshotted you mentioning me? That doesn't make any sense. He goes on to say, are you going to proclaim that we killed a turtle solely to entice you to rant about us? This is back to the Onion Boy stuff. He's also, these are the guys that called me up out of nowhere, and they were saying, oh, we're your friends, we care about you, you know, you're going too much about this Onion Boy stuff. And I'm like, no, you're not. You're just trying to start shit with me to make me look like an asshole. You know, the first conversation I ever had with these guys was nuts. The very first conversation I remember having with them is that they had tried to get me to start shit with Mr. Repsion, because what they had done is they had dug up a picture of some girl who was all beat up from like a domestic violence thing or whatever, and they had told me Daniel was posting that picture around saying I did that to my fiance. So I confronted him about it, and I asked, hey, dude, what the fuck is up with this? And he goes, I don't know anything about that. And he's being completely sincere. So we both found where they got the image from, and they didn't even want anything to do with it. They said, oh, we didn't say that. We didn't start that. And I'm like, yeah, you did. You know?
Basically,
They're kind of...
oh, no, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Which one?
Go ahead, Roxman.
They're kind of like, you know, they're the way I can describe Marbles and St. Patty's Day is like they're the TMZ of YouTube. They like to come up with the random shit to try to start drama with people and go like, look at this, I don't know, random YouTuber X is doing stuff and random YouTuber A doesn't like it or whatever, and trying to start shit thinking that there's somehow this, I don't know. They also kind of remind me of like Skeletor from the old He-Man cartoon in a way. They come up with these they come up with these it's like,
Yeah,
no.
pretty much.
Yeah, just like, we'll get you, He-Man. Oh, damn it, we lost again. This is all your fault, Beast-Man. It's like that in a way with them. It's like they try to find ways of coming up with the weirdest shit to make drama start.
Well, I think what it is now is that they just got sick and tired of doing that. Now they're just resorting to personally attacking people and stuff. And then when you do it to them, you do the same things they do to other people to them. They don't like it. And then they try to use that as an argument against you, which doesn't fucking work because they started it in the first place. You know, he goes at the end of this, He says, I expect an apology, right, and for you to stop harassing people on YouTube. I mean, that's like the most insane thing you could friggin' say. You expect an apology and for me to stop harassing people on YouTube. Dude, there's like 30-plus people that want you to do the same exact thing. So don't sit there and just lump it all on me like, you know, you had nothing to do with this. You pissed a whole lot of people off with this kind of stuff. You know, when you go and you sit there and you make statements about somebody else's life and you're so bold to go into an interview with what is it, the Frost Review, and say that you were trying to exploit a shitty thing from my life, you know, because you felt some desire to get the truth about somebody out there and you're just doing it to be an asshole. Don't expect somebody to want to apologize to you for whatever the fuck you feel wrong by. You don't just get the right to wrong other people and then expect apologies from them. He goes, it's one thing to have someone make a response video or a discussion, but it's a true sign of how butthurt you were about Marvel showing how messed up you are that you decided to continually try to come back with any attempt to dig up dirt and just harass us for a simple YouTube video. That's not even what was going on, and to be honest, most people on the site know I'm kind of messed up. I mean, there's not much more dirt to be dug up. You know, people have posted pretty much everything there is to post about me. Really.
I mean, Flex and Marvels, from my own point of view, and if they're watching this, whatever, I don't really give a fuck. From my own observation, anything to them that what you say to them, it doesn't matter. They think everything that's pointed against them is just inconsequential, that they can't own up to it. I can't be taken seriously from what I argue, but yet, like who I'm associated with, I'm supposed to be guilty of. But yet, like Marvels, for example, is associated with someone who wipes their ass with the American flag. And I'm supposed to be guilty because I'm associated with people that I think are cool, or for something that they didn't really even think through, as opposed to someone like, I don't know, Nazareth, who actually distributed a picture of someone actually taking a selfie, which was actually covered, by the way. But so he wants to lecture me about that, but it's okay for him to have a friend actually wiping her ass with the American flag.
Yeah, you know, I mean, I don't know what goes on in Marvel's life, you know, and it's none of my business, and I'm going to admit that. But yeah, I've heard stories like he's in the military or he does some work along those lines. I don't know if it's true, and like I said, it's really none of my business. But if it is true, and he's hanging out with somebody that will shit on the American flag, literally, you know, that puts him in a whole fuckload of hot water. Yeah. It really does. I mean, like, and not only that, I mean, even still, why the fuck would you want to know somebody that is that insane of an activist? You know, I mean, it brings me to the next thing I want to talk about for the for this whole Black Lives Matter stuff that's going on with Bernie Sanders, and I'll get into that more in a moment, but for real, I mean, you want to know somebody that's going to shit on the flag of your country and treat everything that flag represents like it's a big fucking joke, and you think it's cool to know people like that? For real, fuck you. I mean, it's mind fucking blowing. It's mind fucking blowing. But that does bring me into the next thing with this whole interruptions that Bernie Sanders has been getting at his political rallies from these Black Lives Matter people. I mean, I'm sorry, it's hard to really take a lot of these people seriously if they want to sit there and just harass someone fucking endlessly. You know, they don't even give the guy a chance to fucking say anything. They go up and take his microphone, and from both sides of it, it's not making me happy with what's going on, because he's sitting there just taking it, and he's not doing anything about it. You know, he's just kind of letting them do it. It's like, dude, for real, if you want to stand your fucking ground, you need to stand your fucking ground. You can't just let somebody up there come up on your podium and make an ass of yourself. We know that Black Lives Matter, okay? You know, I think the lives of all people fucking matter. To say that it's one group of individuals that matter above all else, that's selfishness at, like, level red, you know? It really is. I'm not saying that black people's lives don't matter. I'm saying that the way that they're portraying their argument, they're making it sound like their lives matter over everybody else's. We need to just drop our issues as either whites or Hispanics or Asians or anybody else. Say, fuck our issues. Let's focus only on theirs. I mean, you know, we're so privileged, we don't have any issues. I'm like, it's that social justice fucking shit. It just does my fucking head in, because I don't see where they get the right to use the words social justice. There's no fucking justice in this. It's just one-sided. We want what we want and fuck what you want, you know?
Yeah. Wait, didn't the guy actually march in protest with Martin Luther King Jr. before?
Yeah. He was way involved. Bernie Sanders has been way involved in civil rights movements for years and years and years.
And that's something I wanted to point out here, too, because in the matter of this, because from what I also heard or saw within the context of this entire issue is that the people who took the mic from Bernie Sanders are saying that he can't, you know, speak for them because he's not black. You know, am I kind of missing something there, just to be sure?
No, that's about it. That's about right, you know.
And something I wanted to actually show a quote from actually Martin Luther King Jr. is actually one of my heroes, by the way. Something that I wanted to quote to people to hear is something that really contrasts to the main sort of thing that really goes on between the issue of the protesters and Bernie Sanders. Now, I'm just going to read it off from the quote. And it is right here. Okay. And it says, from his quote, "I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, the sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood." Now, that quote right there is just saying, and you can put this in a general perspective, that black and white really do not differ from each other. Saying that people are people. It doesn't matter, you know, whether if their ancestors were slaves, if their ancestors were slave owners. What's important is that people are to be together to help this sort of issue. It's not about race, it's about character, and that's the sort of thing that these guys are not getting. It's not because of skin color that he can't do that. He's doing something because he believes in something. That's what his character is about. He believes that lives do matter. And it doesn't just go for, you know, for black. It goes for anyone. It goes for anyone of any ethnicity too. If there's some sort of oppression or some sort of racial bigotry to that matter, people's lives, do matter. And it's not about saying that you can't do something because of the color of your skin. That's bullshit.
Yeah, and it says right here in an article I pulled up on the guy, Sanders is an outspoken person on civil liberties and has been particularly critical of mass surveillance policies such as the Patriot Act, which I do not like at all, if you've ever read some of the things in it. And he also is a very critical person, very critical of racial discrimination in the criminal justice system. Basically, these people for Black Lives Matter are against cops that shoot unarmed black youth. Okay, anybody can agree that that's a fucked up thing. So they're sitting and interrupting the fucking speeches put on by a guy who is exactly on the same fucking page as they are. And to me, it's mind-blowing. I'm like, are you not fucking paying attention to what you're doing? Did you not do any research about this guy? Or is it just he's white and he's a political guy and that's all you needed to know? They're like, oh shit, well he's automatically bad then. Even though he's completely in fucking favor of, you know, what we're in favor of, what we want. We want, you know, people not to be so fucking trigger happy, basically.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you know, a lot of these people that advocate for that, and I understand on a philosophical level what they're advocating, they go too far with it. Because, and I'll bring this up in the news segment, or I guess I can just bring it up now. There was a shooting in Oakland yesterday where this guy was he was basically a robbery suspect. Okay, and he carjacked somebody after trying to pull a robbery on somebody. He had a gun on him. So he drives the car for a while and runs from the cops, and then he ditches the car, and as he's trying to carjack somebody else, he turns around and he fucking starts shooting at the cops, and the cops fire back and shoot this guy all up. That evening, people start fucking protesting and rioting over it, and I'm like, for fuck's sake, you were rioting and protesting over a fucking dude who just committed armed robbery. All right? I mean, he shot at cops. Don't you think at that point they have a right to fucking defend themselves? You know, they'll sit out there and they'll say, you know, they'll do the what is it, the hands up thing from like Trayvon Martin, or they'll say Black Lives Matter. We understand there's a fucking problem with racial discrimination. But you got to take case by case. You got to take it one step at a time. You can't sit there and defend somebody that shoots at fucking cops that carjack two fucking people. You know? It's insane.
It's just ridiculous how this is getting now.
It's travesty.
No, it is. It's just people don't want to take a look at the bigger issue, and the bigger issue is, you know, there's just a breakdown of our criminal justice system. I mean, it's not putting the right people in jail. And you get people that get put in prison now for like fucking 20 years for like an ounce of weed. Okay, that's coming out of my motherfucking tax dollars. All right, and that don't make me happy that I'm paying some pud to be in prison for 20 fucking years for only wanting to just kill some of his brain cells and relax for a while. You know, if they're going to go to something constructive, let's keep, you know, fucking murderers in prison instead of giving them like, you know, 10 years and then they get parole after 5 years, you know?
Yeah.
Stupid. I mean, it's just... And the whole social justice thing in this country is just ridiculous, as I said. There's no justice in it. They don't even know what the fuck they want. It's like the whole radical feminism thing. I'm all for feminism, and I'm all for feminist causes. I understand there's a need for equality between all genders, even people that are transgendered. I just don't like people that stand up there and say, well, fuck your issues, ours matter. Well, that's not equality.
It's like,
Go ahead.
It's like with the whole entire like the trigger thing you said. They're triggered on both things. Triggers and triggers. It's like, hey, look, someone did something we don't like. We have to rabble like what's a good way of like explaining it? I wouldn't say Tumblr, but that's already been done to death. I don't know, but it's like that in a way, because about everyone's like, oh, look, we want to make everything, we're social justice warriors. Everything has to be our way. But if you're not following their way, you're wrong, and it's ridiculous.
Oh, it's like when Anita Sarkeesian fucking blamed, what was it, Sandy Hook or something, on toxic male behaviors. I mean, I've honestly sat back and read a lot of her tweets and a lot of what Feminist Frequency has to say. And I'm like, okay, so you want to put these things out in the ether. Do you have anything that backs this shit up? Like, what cavernous depth of your ass have you pulled this stuff from? Toxic masculinity? What the fuck is toxic masculinity besides something you made up? I mean, I love when that woman was on Stephen Colbert because he just nuked her argument within a second.
Yeah.
He asked, okay, so who is any of this benefiting? So why are you doing all this? What's the point of all this? He asked her straight up, what is the point of all this? And she couldn't even answer the fucking question. Besides to make money, there is no other point, I guess.
I remember she said something, I'm not sure if this is true or not, but she said something about Iwata. It was like, oh, Iwata died, well, maybe Nintendo won't be so sexist anymore. I'm not sure if that was like a real tweet she did. But if it is,
I remember seeing something about it, so don't quote me on it. I don't know if it was her or not, but I remember seeing something about it. But the fact is, wouldn't say it was her because I can't verify it, but there are people who exist who have those sentiments, and it's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
They think that the death of somebody for a video game company will make the world less sexist. I mean, her whole thing about video games is mind-blowing to me, too. I'm like, what does it fucking matter? Who this video game sexist? What does it fucking matter? You're crusading for people that don't exist. You're crusading for pixels. Right now, there are motherfucking people in the world dying of, like, starvation and HIV, and nobody gives a fuck about them, but you have to give a fuck about your pixelated people that don't fucking exist. For the narrative that you've attributed to them that you friggin' came up with yourself. It's almost like social justice warrior syndrome is just a new mental illness that hasn't been diagnosed yet,
It's extreme narcissism.
Yes, pretty much. It really is. At its core, a lot of extreme social justice people are just super narcissists, and it's almost like they're looking for a justification for their narcissism,
I wonder how long it's going to take, like, social justice warriors to look at water and say, like, that's sexist or something.
There was a lady that did a legit fucking article who said that I think it was the air conditioning in the water cooler in her fucking office was sexistly placed.
What?
It was placed apparently too close to the air conditioning, she said, and it was just like the men were trying to have like a one-up on her or something. Let me look this up really quick, but it's just fucking mind-blowing.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, God. Oh, man.
The water cooler is sexist and moved to the air conditioner. No, it's not. It's not sexist. It's probably a Decepticon fucking with you.
Yeah, right. I got it pulled up. It says it was put up by the Telegraph. It says you guys can hear me, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It may be warm outside, but in offices up and down the country, women are frozen stiff while men enjoy the air conditioner. Radhika Sangani, I guess she's Indian, from India, judging by the name, unpicks the sexist AC war. This is an actual article. Yeah, this is the right one, because this is the one I saw like a video about it on. It's the same girl. She says, I'm freezing cold as I write this article at my desk. I'm wrapped up in a jumper with my legs crossed under me to keep warm, and my sleeves are pulled as far down as they go. My two female colleagues are sitting opposite me wearing their jackets, and there's a stack of emergency desk jumpers in case things get worse. The men around us are all pretty much jacket-free. In fact, most of them have their T-shirt sleeves rolled up and religiously maintain that the temperature is fine. Welcome to office life, where women battle daily with the air conditioning, and men have no idea there's even a problem. That exists. And then she goes on, the Washington Post recently highlighted this in a piece that made all my female colleagues and I fist pump the air with joy. Finally, someone is acknowledging that AC hell is not a figment of our imaginations, but is actually a form of sexism. Men toil in their dream temperatures while women are left to shiver, or in our case, wrap themselves in a weird gray poncho blanket scarf. It's about time we had this conversation. There must be thousands, dare I say millions of women out there having these exact AC office wars. I asked women on Twitter how they felt, and within 5 minutes I had these responses. My coat is currently doubling as a blanket over my knees. #glamour. Absolutely, the office was described as nippy by my female colleague right up until June. I was sweating. And then a whole bunch of other people in there and tweets I don't want to read. But then it goes on. Clearly this is a problem, one that's backed up by scientific research. In 1998, researchers at the University of Utah found that women had higher core temperatures than men, 97.8 Fahrenheit versus 97.7 Fahrenheit. And their hands were consistently colder, while men registered an average hand temperature of 90 degrees Fahrenheit. The mean hand temperature for women was just 87.2. And it just keeps going on and on and on and on. And I'm just like, well, okay, for one, okay, fuck us for having biology. And by the way, why don't you just turn the fucking AC down? You know?
The most simple solution to that, yeah, and she goes on a tirade.
She goes on a tirade because she's too fucking lazy to get up and turn the fucking air off. Or, you know, fucking shut the vent. You know, my AC in my fucking house here gets so goddamn fucking frigid cold during the day, but it's good to keep it running so you don't overcharge your fucking bill for your air conditioning, because that comes out of the electric. So you know what I do? I go up and I do this fucked up thing called I shut the vent. You know? I mean, and for that, you're bundled up in jackets and jumpers and scarves. I'm like, so what are the guys in your office running around with like fucking icicles hanging off their nipples or what? You know? Fucking like, what is your boss? What is his name? What is his name? Victor Freeze?
Let's kill the dinosaurs!
Why the hell did you turn the AC off? It's fucking boiling in here. Yeah, it's 2 degrees. Like I said, it's boiling in here. I can't do an Arnold impression today. Speaking of Arnold, like, why can every human on Earth do an Arnold Schwarzenegger impression, but he can't do one of a normal person saying California?
I know.
California.
Yeah, right. But anyway, this is insane. You know, this is how bad people think that the society is trying to be sexist to them, and it's just like at some point, your laziness has contributed to this.
Oh yeah.
Turn the air down or up, whichever is more comfortable to you.
It reminds me of the story of a I saw this from a Logic's channel. It was about like a like he thought like he lost his shoe and he was like blaming like Zionists. This dude was going around blaming Zionists for stealing his shoe because he was a Muslim or something.
Well, Zionists, from what I understand, they're like regular Jewish people, except they're on the fucking extreme end of it all. I'm not sure. I mean, I don't know much about Zionism and all that.
Yeah, it was just like, did you check under your couch, dude? I'm sure it's there. I'm not sure people are breaking into your house. And even Logic was pointing it out, like, did this guy check anywhere else in his house? Does he have a kid? Does he have a fucking cat?
Yo. So they stole his keys and he's freaking out?
Yeah, like, where's my keys? I'm just wondering if, like, he lost, like, his... Like, what happens if he just, like, I don't know, woke up one day bald? Do you think, like, Zionists came in and just shaved his head?
Probably. Probably. He'll think some evil, dirty, packy bastard came in and shaved his head.
Yeah.
That's how guys like that usually function.
Yeah. it is just like, what the fuck is with these people? It's like he put up a Kickstarter also to like help him find his missing shoe.
A person named Simply Mason Zero says the Iwata tweet was fake. Gamergate confirmed it. Same with the Kotaku article.
Okay, that's good because it was just like
Yeah, you know, she said like the Sandy Hook thing to me was completely fucked. Like, I mean, it was hard to go past that. You know, just like the vegan gains thing, it's hard to go past that level of fucked upness.
Yeah.
But let's see. Moving along now, I want to talk about a little bit of a movie turd called Fantastic Four. I haven't seen this yet, but I'm not happy with what I've seen of it. It doesn't make me very pleased. I actually liked the original Fantastic Four movie, and I mean the one with Jessica Alba, and I know that the guy's playing Captain America from that movie, so obviously they're not going to have him in two places. But I liked those Fantastic Four movies actually.
I mean, I wasn't even aware that this new Fantastic Four movie was out until I heard all these reviews. I mean, I wasn't even aware of its existence. I don't know where I was off that, but I was
I saw it in a couple of trailer things before a few other movies that I've gone to see. I know I saw it before, not Mad Max. It was before another movie, but they've been basically spamming it in trailers, and they were spamming it all over Denny's. Like my fiance and I, we go to Denny's every so often, you know, just to get something to eat, and they had it all over their menus. They have like special Fantastic Four meals, which are good. Don't let the movie fuck up your food. They're good. It's just they're for promotional purposes. Which is funny too, because there's 5 other things on the menu that are the exact same dish, except they're more expensive because they don't have the Fantastic Four shit with them.
Wish they could have done that at a Waffle House.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Oh man, I miss Waffle House.
I love Waffle House.
I haven't been there.
That's good, actually. It's one of those places where you hear it and they're like, oh, that's just like a redneck place to eat. And I'm like, fuck you, man. They make really good fucking waffles. But no, the Fantastic Four, it looks like it did fucking dismally at the box office. It got something like $11 million, which for a movie like that, you know, you're like $11 million sounds pretty good. They pound like hundreds of millions of dollars into film budgets, and I didn't actually know this for like a long time, like how expensive movies really are. Like low budget is still up to like if you put about $10 million into your film, it's still considered low budget. I'm like, wow. But that goes to paying the actors, getting all your film equipment, catering, all that kind of shit. You know, this movie was something like $400 million budget, and it made only 11 of that back. Oh.
Man, that is like critical and a major bummer.
Well, because nobody wanted to see it, you know, and the backstory behind it is just so stupid. You know, they don't even get their powers like the original way, where they were astronauts, and then they got hit with all this fucked up gamma radiation, and then it became the Fantastic Four. No, it was some other stupid thing about like a spore or something like that, and I'm like, that's just keep it to the original. You know, it's like with the comic book movies for DC, I'm like, why are you fucking these up so much? Like, it's pretty straight friggin' forward. You goddamn just look at the comic books and you've got your storyboard for your movie right there. You know?
I know they went off
visual image.
Sorry.
What's up?
You're good.
I know the Marvel, like they try to go with the Marvel Ultimate Universe for the Fantastic Four, but it seems they were like, okay, let's do that for the first 5 minutes, then screw everything up, and then let's make Doctor Doom a crash test dummy, and then let's just go into Beskar material and have just brains exploding everywhere. That's how the movie seems to be. It's like they didn't give 2 shits.
Yeah, no, and then the thing that kind of bothers me about it is they really fucked up Doctor Doom in this, and I like Doctor Doom. He's one of my favorite movie villains and comic villains and stuff. I mean, his portrayal has been pretty cool throughout, except for that one unreleased Fantastic Four movie.
Oh yeah.
You can find it on YouTube for free, I'm sure, but it's just like, why does this exist? Oh, that's right. It was only made so they could keep the rights to Fantastic Four and didn't care about how bad it was, so they never released it.
There was a There was a thing about Doctor Doom in the Ultimate Universe. He had like goat's feet. You know, it was like kind of like curved in the back and with hooves.
Yeah.
How cool that would be if they did that in this movie. Just have Doctor Doom with that. He had like some type of deformity from birth, making it like that.
Yeah, he's like some kind of psycho friggin' demon Doctor Doom. That would have been kind of cool.
Yeah, but
he's actually like a pseudo hero in comics now because he saved like a whole bunch of planets from being destroyed.
Yeah.
Which I think is kind of cool. They don't do cool shit like that anymore with these. I'm not happy about the Suicide Squad movie either. I like the way they're doing Harley Quinn. At least they didn't make her a complete airhead ditz like I was fearing. The problem is none of these actors bothered to read up on any of these characters before getting into the film. Like Will Smith straight up said, I don't know who Deadshot is as a character, and I'm not going to read all the comics to figure out anything about his character. I'm yeah, most of them did that. Jared Leto as the Joker also really just doesn't make me happy because that's not the Joker to me. Even in the trailer, he just looks like a goofy meth head. And everybody's saying, well, that's probably Jason Todd, they're probably going to do that. And I'm like, no, they're not going to do that. They're going to make him the Joker. And they completely fucked up the relationship between him and Harley anyway because he's just an abusive psychopath in this who beats the shit out of her the whole movie. Even in the goddamn cartoon, it wasn't really like that. He was an asshole, don't get me wrong. But you've completely ruined the dynamics that those two characters had between each other the whole fucking time. And I can tell just from the trailer.
The one thing I did like from that whole entire thing, with the Joker thing and everything, is how in the Batman vs. Superman movie, we might get a flashback of the Joker beating the crap out of Jason Todd. I would love to see that in live action form. I've seen
I've heard that movie got standing ovation at its test audience. Batman vs. Superman. So apparently it's pretty good. Like I've always been worried, that it was gonna suck, but there are more things that they released about this movie, and I'm like, I'm half tempted to go see this. Maybe it really isn't as bad as people say.
Yeah. You've actually made a good point about that, Rox, because also in this, when they released Batman movies, I mean, you don't get to see much of Robin. You got to see the Dick Grayson Robin, or you got to see the compilation of the three personalities, which they put into the Dark Knight Rises. Which, by the way, in the comparison, they had one character that reflected Deadshot's character, but they didn't really reference him as Deadshot. But this one, if they do mention Jason, this is like the first time ever, like officially released actual movie that actually has a different Robin. Wow, I mean, we come that far because we never actually seen an actual Nightwing. We've never seen an actual, Tim Drake or Jason Todd Robin in one of these actual released cinematic movies. I think that would be pretty cool to look. I mean, that's something tempting to even go into as well.
Yeah, that would be actually really cool. I would actually like to see that. I read somewhere that for the original Nolan movies, if Heath Ledger hadn't died, they were going to introduce Joker and Harley Quinn, and then Bane was going to be in the fourth movie. And Heath Ledger's death kind of fucked all that up,
There was an artist who actually did a thing about that, like, after the events of Batman, like the third Dark Knight movie, where he basically went through, like, what happened after, like, Gordon Levitt's character becomes Batman, and how Commissioner Gordon's son becomes the new Two-Face, and even Damian Wayne showing up and all these other characters. And it was like,
damn, he should have kept going with those movies. I would have fucking loved that.
Yeah, I'm like,
that would have been awesome.
It's like I wish that artist is doing that shit. Like, do what that artist is doing. Just do that. Do that.
Yeah, just resurrect Heath Ledger so we can get the Joker in there every so often because he's just too much of a bamf to leave out.
Yeah.
It's actually a good risk to take too. But like I gotta say, Damian Wayne was he was my least favorite Robin of them all. But I think that is a good direction to go with that. I mean, they even pointed out some things, even on YouTube too. They've actually done this, sequeling after the Dark Knight, and like Joker Blogs is one of these channels that actually made these episodes, and they did a pretty good job at it.
I love
just
those.
Hands down, they've actually. Oh hell yeah, dude! Those things were awesome. And they built some relationship between Harley and Quinzel and the Joker. I don't know why they stopped at Axis and Allies. I don't know what. I don't understand. It's been a while since they've actually released, and another episode after that, because they just stopped there. But they managed to pull out something pretty good. They managed to keep going along with it, and and there's other films. There's also one that's called like Joker Rises. I mean, if anyone's seen that before, it's a fan-made version of how the Joker became who he is. But like that was like the most different relationship of Harley Quinn and Joker in comparison to all of these other Joker Harley Quinn relationships, because it's the very first time that you actually see someone who doesn't even go he doesn't go abusive at all. You just see a man go completely psychotic, after seeing what happens to Harley. In some way, I get it.
A lot of the stuff in this Suicide Squad trailer too. Have you seen Assault on Arkham? It's an animated movie that they did about that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's like they just made a fucking live action version of that. That's what the trailer looks like to me. Because he does the same thing in that where he electrocutes the shit out of her, Because he does that. Spoiler alert, he does that at the end. Since I just fucking ruined the movie for some people who probably wanted to see it.
Oh, man, it's alright.
What do you guys think about John Bernthal being cast as the Punisher?
It kind of fits.
Yeah, he's gonna be the Punisher. Hopefully, in an original series for the Punisher they want to do on Netflix, which I am totally fucking down for. But the Punisher is hands down my absolute favorite comic book character ever. He's a badass. Instead of beating up criminals and throwing them in jail, he just puts a bullet in their head and then leaves them in the alleyway. He killed them. He gets the job done, in my opinion. But they want to put him in. They want to put him in Daredevil. They want to put him in the next season of it, and they want to do probably, if they get enough appeal from the fans to do so, an actual series. I would like to see that. I wish that the guy. I wish that Thomas Jane would do it, but I think somewhere he said he wasn't going to do it. They'd have to do another movie or something like that. And then Ray Stevenson can't because he's busy being that big fucking dude from the Thor films.
Yeah,
he's actually in the Thor movies. I forget which one he plays, but he's that big guy with a beard. Whatever the name is. No, not Odin. He's one of Thor's buddies. So Ray Stevenson is actually he's the one who hangs out with that Valkyrie girl, and then the other guy who looks like Robin. I'm so shitty with character names.
I don't know. I never got into Thor that much.
Let's see.
I mean, Thor I got into a little bit, but I never got into it as much as obviously Spider-Man and then other characters. I mean, I'm pretty surprised they haven't made something over the Prowler yet. I mean, that's one I've been dying to see, because Prowler to me was probably one of my other favorites in the inclusion of characters.
Volstagg, that's the guy's name.
Volstagg?
Volstagg, yeah, he plays Volstagg in Thor. He's that big dude with the beard that hangs out with him. He eats a lot. He's actually one of my favorite characters in Thor. I think he's cool. I wish they'd do more with his character, though. But you were saying, I'm sorry I interrupted you.
Oh, no, you're good, man. I guess what I also like, I guess they're going to be also doing a reboot of Spider-Man, too, as well. I mean, it's what I'm...
Oh, they've done so many fucking reboots of Spider-Man. I mean, I like the Tobey Maguire ones. I actually liked his portrayal of Spider-Man. I like the other kid that did it most recently. And then they want to restart it. Yeah, Andrew Garfield. Yeah, he was really good as Spider-Man as well. And, I don't mind Spider-Man movies. I just wish they would pull their heads out of their asses and get all this stuff with the rights fixed. Because it's just seriously, figure your shit out.
Yeah.
They keep doing more and more Spider-Man reboots because I guess Marvel or whoever doesn't want to give up the rights on it. And I'm like, dude, fuck you. Just
do it. Oh shit.
Yeah. And I don't care what people say. I liked Willem Dafoe as Green Goblin. I think everybody's like, his costume was kind of weird looking, and I'm like, well, here's the thing. Green Goblin is just a random villain anyway. I mean, I don't care. I'm not going to apply a standard to him because he's kind of a troll. He's really what he is.
I heard this thing about the Green Goblin costume, that they changed it for Willem Dafoe because he found, the one that they were developing before just looked way too silly.
I would love to have seen that if even Willem Dafoe thinks it's silly. I mean, he was in the movie Antichrist, for God's sake. And if you've ever seen the Boondock Saints, it's not like he's totally silly in that shit.
I would actually love to see Willem Dafoe as Two-Face, because he can pull off a psychotic nature,
Oh,
too. So
that would be fucking great. That would be great. Him as Two-Face.
Yeah, just like him. Just like him, just like arguing with himself over killing Batman, or I don't know. I like what he like the Arkham way they did him. You know, like one side of his suit was black, the other one was white. The burnt face.
I liked
thing.
how in Arkham Asylum how they did his cell, where one side of it was all neat and orderly, and the other was just fucked up and messy. If you ever find his cell in Arkham Asylum, it's like that.
Yeah.
And in Arkham City, all of his fucking henchmen are like that too. Where like they're like half burned on one side and not on the other too.
Yeah. And then, like, in Arkham Knight, which I haven't been able to play yet, he's just like, hey, I'm still here, and I'm still doing the same shit.
Still arguing the same crap over and over again.
So what do you guys think of the upcoming Deadpool movie?
Finally.
Oh, dude.
I'm excited. I love Deadpool. He's another one of my favorite comic book characters.
Go ahead, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Rasmus.
I actually have a Deadpool bobblehead that's on my shelf with my other stuff, and he's just like it's like one of those little small Junko ones, you know. I got him at a comic convention. It's just like this thing is awesome, and I was just like happy when I saw the Deadpool trailer. A lot of people were like, "Wait, so he doesn't have Baraka arms anymore?" I'm like, "You ever say that again, Deadpool will come out of your computer and beat you up."
I'm hoping to go in it. Like, if they actually make, like, I'm waiting for the movie for it to come out. Like, if they make an eventual sequel to it, they better have a show-off of Spider-Man and Deadpool going at each other with Yo Mama jokes. I am dying for that day.
That would be great. But the way they're handling it sounds good, because I didn't like in that X-Men film where they sewed his mouth shut and then gave him laser eyes and then a whole bunch of other abilities he doesn't exactly have.
Yeah.
He has regeneration, and I know that he can, jump teleport from place to place. I don't know where the laser eyes came in, though.
Maybe, I don't know, maybe Weasel just gave him that too, like, hey, have these. What are these? They're laser contacts. Use them, and you can, like, blast someone's face off. I'm going to use these on Girl Scouts so I can get free cookies.
Free cookies!
That's what Deadpool would do with them. He would just, like, scare them away with laser eyes and steal all the cookies, like, these are mine now. That's what he would do.
You can do stuff like that in the game before you actually start the Deadpool game. You can just cruise around his fucking apartment and slam the door on somebody who's knocking.
Yeah. Just no.
Say, Girl Scouts making cookies.
Okay, so I'm just browsing my Facebook feed while we've been talking here, and I just scrolled across the craziest fucking story. The emerging fetish of laying alien eggs inside yourself.
Oh, jeez, I read about that yesterday. What the fuck is... that makes so uncomfortable.
I'm gonna try to channel JonTron here. What? What the fuck? Went a little too far there, but
yeah, I'm not. Since Justin has already seen it, I'm just gonna send it to you, bro. But I'm not making it up. They have. What am I looking at here? What the fuck is this? It's an alien dick with eggs that come out of it. Why would... Recently, while on the internet looking at weird sex things, I came upon the gushing testimony, wow, what a nice use of words, of a young woman who just discovered Primal Hardware's patented ovipositor, one of the most unusual and confronting sex toys I've ever heard of. It's basically a big dildo that lays goopy eggs molded in gelatin in the body cavity of your choice. Fans of the ovipositor say that the sensation of mushy extraterrestrial ovum slopping back out of them is a real treat. Ew. Right? The owner of Primal Hardware is a man who insisted I refer to him only as Lone Wolf, a Native American of indeterminate age. He apparently was a builder, fast food dude, fashion model, church organist, butcher, and veterinary student at the University of New Hampshire before deciding, I want to make enormous egg-laying alien dicks. They interview the guy. This is fucking unreal. I'm gonna put this in the fucking chat for this. I'm I'm actually no, I'm not gonna do that. It's fucking gross. If you want to look it up yourself. This is fucking nasty. But thank you, Caleb, for putting that in my feed while I'm scrolling by because I needed a reason to vomit later. Oh, you know that's great. What?
And I thought Bad Dragon was weird.
What's Bad Dragon?
They make all these like different. A friend of mine showed me this thing. It was like a whole entire page of like different type dildos. You can get dragon dildos from this site.
Oh, this is why this website I found is asking me if you're 18.
It's
wow, the age verification says "Give me some sugar, baby." What the fuck? You weren't on.
What? Jesus.
Well, they sell coffee mugs too. Experimental toys. What is experimental? How would you fucking put that in you? Like what?
I don't want to know.
And it's like, you know, to the girls that are into this, you know, I mean, you know, whatever gets you off. But at some point, you got to think, what's possessing you to say, I want to have sex with a giant lizard beast 5 times my size? You know? Cage the anomaly.
It's like
Cage the. Go ahead.
It's like, I don't know, like a girl just saw like the first Alien movie, and that girl who got like died from like a fucking xenomorph fucking her. It's just like, you know what? I want that. I want that to happen to me, and just made a sex toy out of it.
The names for these are great. Stan the T-Rex, the Mountain Drake, the Guardian. Oh, dude, they're fucking gross. These don't even look like. They don't. Chance the Stallion flared.
Guardian the
oh
pussy
God!
troll.
Somebody actually have a fucking xenomorph dick on here.
Oh Jesus!
On Bad Dragon.
No, yes, it's called Ridley the Xenogon.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ!
Yeah, they make like this is kind of gross. They make ones that are shaped with little dragon faces on the end. No.
Oh God. That website is pretty funny if you ask me. Just like all these shit they come up with. It's just like, what's next? Like a Pikachu or Kirby one?
Oh, this is gross. I'm getting out of here. They make ones that are shaped like dog dicks. Okay, I'm out.
Oh yeah.
Stick with fictional characters. Don't go into actual animals, please.
Yeah, no, because they were starting to get into like horse-shaped ones and stuff, and I'm like, ew. I'm like, no.
No, don't do that. No.
Like 3 to 5 for bestiality.
Careful with that stuff, man. You don't want like. It is just. There are websites out there who just sell these weird shit. I mean, one day you're gonna find like they're gonna make a website for like, I don't know, like fleshlights that are like Bad Dragon. Watch, it's gonna happen one of these days.
Right.
Man, I can't think of any more of those things. I feel like I'm gonna like just hurl.
All right. Well, now I'm gonna get into some news and stuff since you know, we've kind of exhausted some of the topics for now. The first thing I want to talk about is this massive explosion that happened in China yesterday. I don't know if you guys heard anything about this. Basically, it was at some kind of a port, and it was like a gas explosion. It was fucking insane. It was like, if you see the videos on it, and for people listening, I'll link videos to those after the broadcast is done and put up. It was fucking insane. It was like apocalypse level shit.
Jesus.
I'm trying to get to the article here because the video player does not want to be cooperative.
Thunderfoot put something about it, like saying the explosion could took out Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, oh yeah, trust me. It was next to a fuel depot. It says here on BBC.com, the massive explosions in China's northern city of Tianjin are now known to have killed at least 50 people. More than 700 have been injured, and hospitals are struggling to cope with the number of casualties. The blasts at a warehouse storing toxic chemicals destroyed tower blocks and burned out thousands of cars. The fireball could even be seen from space. Okay, I'm glad aliens were watching. 12 firefighters are among those who lost their lives. 36 of their colleagues are still missing. You got to think about that. Like, a fire that's so fucking bad, people go missing in it. Like, that's one way of, I guess, saying they were just vaporized, you know. Tianjin is one of China's most important industrial centers and is one of the busiest ports in the world. President Xi Jinping, and trying to say these names correctly, sorry if I fuck that up, I'm not trying to be racist, has promised a thorough investigation into what happened and transparent information disclosure to the public, Xinhua news agency reports. The first explosion occurred at about 23:30 local time, 15:30 GMT on Wednesday in Tianjin's Binhai new area. It's a vast industrial zone which houses car factories, aircraft assembly lines, and other manufacturing and research firms. So this basically means that China's economy is fucked for a little bit. If it blew all that up, I mean, that's one of the big exports and imports for them is technology and mechanical and industrial things. So that's going to really devastate their economy for a bit. The blast was followed second later by another more powerful blast and a series of smaller explosions. You can definitely see that in the videos that I saw. Like, there's just this one big fireball that goes off, and then it's basically like, I think that's when the fuel depot goes up, because then an even bigger one hits, and then just the rest of the fuel tanks start going. It's crazy. There was a guy that was filming in his window, and the minute the big blast goes off, he gets immediately knocked right on his ass, and he's like about 1,000 feet away, or probably about even a mile away. So that goes to show you how bad the blast radius was. I mean, the guy was fine, but it sounded like it broke his window and knocked him on his ass. And see. Broken and buckled shipping containers litter the site, and vast areas of the port have been devastated. Buildings within a 1.5-mile radius had windows blown out, and office blocks were destroyed. The impact of the blast could be felt several kilometers away and were detected by a U.S. Geological Survey monitoring in Beijing 100 miles away. Shit.
Holy
State
fuck.
media... I know, right? I saw earlier on CNN, they said this shit was about a 2.5 on the earthquake scale, which isn't much for earthquakes, but I mean from like a fuel depot blowing up. That's fucking insane. The state media reported that firefighters arrived at the port at 23:06 local time as containers were on fire. Another batch of firefighters arrived around 23:16, 14 minutes before the first explosion. Reports in Chinese media said the blast happened after a shipment of explosives detonated in a warehouse owned by Ruihai Logistics, a company that specializes in handling dangerous and toxic chemicals. Yeah, because, you want to store explosives near that. That's always the smart thing to do. When you get a shipment of hand grenades, make sure you store that next to your shipment of butane and open flame.
If you want to avoid a killer, just hide behind a whole entire rack of chainsaws.
Yeah, exactly. You want to put out a fire, pour gasoline onto it. The state broadcaster, China Central Television, said at least one person from the relevant company has been detained for questioning. And I'll go into why this is. About 30 minutes before this happened, and this is only just because I happenstance was browsing 4chan's B at the time, there was a guy who was posting pictures of this place on fire before it blew up. And he was saying, yeah, so I think this might be some kind of industrial sabotage, because there was legit a guy who was saying, don't worry, there's going to be even more explosions, just stay tuned to the news. And he posted pictures of the inside of the office for this place on fire. And said that the blast would more than likely kill him. And I'm like, well, shit. It was like that one time somebody posted pictures of this. Basically, he posted pictures of an actual dead person.
I remember that.
Yeah, that he claimed to have killed. And then later on in the news, we all found out it was legit. I'm like... Oh, that board is fucked up because that happens. Anyway, it goes on to say the warehouse was designed to store chemicals including sodium cyanide. Oh, wonderful. That's great to have in the environment.
Yeah.
Butanol and, okay, here's a big one. Toluene diisontinate, whatever the fuck that is, as well as compressed natural gas and other flammable substance. So basically everything you don't want to breathe in was in this facility. That's crazy.
Yeah, I
Okay,
can
this
see
is a
why they
pretty
would
long
ask.
article. So this is a pretty long article. Do you want me to keep going on with it?
If you want, man.
Hey, go
Okay.
ahead.
The BBC's John Sudworth in Tianjin said thick, acrid smoke can be still seen billowing from the site, and the burning taste hangs heavy in the air. You know, if there's sodium cyanide in this fucking facility, I don't think you want people on the ground standing around it. That shit hangs in the air. I mean, isn't that what they used in mustard gas? You know, so that's just pumping out into the air while burning.
I mean,
It's
yeah,
like the
that's
Fukushima. It's like the Fukushima thing in Japan. It's just like, doesn't anybody care that this place is pumping radiation into the ocean? Does anybody care that this is pumping cyanide into the air?
I mean, not to mention, that shit should be like easily flammable. Am I correct?
Yeah, it's still burning. Like they don't like, basically they don't want firefighters to get near this because you know they don't know how to really put it out, because the more they put on this, the more it'll just restart all the fucking fire again. There was something like this that happened actually back in Nevada a long time ago. It was called PepCon. Basically it was a giant petroleum plant, and it did other fuels like jet fuels and stuff too. And basically some asshole was welding next to a barrel full of this stuff, and the barrel's lid was partially cracked. So one of the hot embers from the weld basically sparked a fire in this barrel, which set other things on fire, and the whole place went up. And they just let it burn itself out because they didn't exactly know how to combat this fucking thing. It says basically a lot of people have been still getting injured and sick from a lot of the sodium cyanide in the air. This is crazy, though. I mean, you know, it's upsetting that shit like this happens, but I'm sort of glad this didn't fucking happen in the United States, because then there would be people saying, oh, the government did this to us and shit.
Oh, conspiracy theorists and all that.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
There was one I
Like,
saw.
go ahead.
There was one I saw happen like in Taiwan. It happened like 3 weeks ago, where there was another fire inside like this nightclub or whatever. And this dude, I don't know who this fucker is, but he's a total fucking ass cunt for saying this. He's saying the fire happened was because it was supposedly because of gay people. Because, oh well, they were gay, so they were burning to death because of their sins. It's like, no,
They were
because
they were such flamers. They set the place on fire for real.
yeah,
Wow.
well, it's like, no, because about I even explained to the guy, I'm like, dude, you're a fucking idiot. And I'm like, I explained to him, no, it's because about the stuff they were using, because about it was like some type of paint party, you know, where they threw like dried paintballs at people.
Right.
Yeah, they were throwing that, and you know, they actually had something in there that was highly combustible from heat, which caused the fire. And of course, they're going off saying, oh, it's because they were gay and everything. It's like, no. Why does everything have to be because of the government or because someone's sexuality or something? Why can't it be, oh shit, someone fucked up?
Yeah. You know, I mean, like I said earlier, there was a guy who was posting that he had started a fire in the place. As I said, if there's a conspiracy, it's industrial sabotage. The guy fucking hated his job or something and just said,
Yeah.
fuck it, I'm going down. Y'all are going with me, because people can't quit their jobs the way Doug Walker did. Have you ever seen that
Yeah.
video when he quit his job?
Oh yeah.
Oh man, that was glorious. That was like the fucking best video ever. And that was before I even knew who the fuck he was, like the Nostalgia Critic. I saw that. I'm like, dude, this guy is amazing.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
I would love doing that, just like if I ever have a crappy job like that, and I would just be like, you know what, I'm gonna quit, but do it in style, and just walk out.
I'm gonna quit all over this motherfucker.
Just walk into work, go to my like whatever I do.
Stand up on a couch and be like Oprah. I'm gonna quit. You're gonna quit. You're gonna quit. You're gonna quit.
We're all gonna quit and just leave like a boss.
Have you seen the GIF where they modified that so she's throwing bees at people?
Yes.
She basically opens up this giant ass bag of like angry, pissed off hornets, and they come swarming out, and she's like, "You get bees, you get bees." And I'm like, oh, okay, I don't want to be on the Oprah show no more. All right. Now the next story, I talked about this a little earlier when we were talking about Bernie Sanders. This is from NBCBayArea.com. A 24-year-old man was shot by the police Wednesday afternoon after a pursuit and alleged carjacking attempt in West Oakland. Died at a hospital from his injuries, authorities said. The fatal shooting sparked a protest and that started in the area of 27th Street and Martin Luther King Way in Oakland. Posts on social media show that at least 100 people gathered in the area at 8 p.m. to protest the officer-involved shooting. By 8:40 p.m., the crowd began marching through the city. A live stream of the rally showed demonstrators burning a Confederate flag, which I don't know what the fuck a Confederate flag had anything to do with this. What does the Confederacy have to do with a guy who was an armed robber who carjacked people? But they burned a Confederate flag while marching through Oakland streets and disrupting traffic. Now, I watched one of these last night. You know, they're doing the thing where they're trying to block off the road and shit, and they're trying to bang on people's cars to get them off the road because that's supposed to achieve something, you know. You know, as the crowd continued marching through Oakland, some people from the group were seen on the live stream burning trash cans and disrupting traffic along the way. And then they in this article, they show a picture of the gun the guy pulled on the cops. It looks like he was carrying just a standard 9mm. Which, you know, that yeah, you want to pull one of those on a cop. That's the smartest thing you want to do, you know. There's no way that could go wrong ever. And then it goes on to say at around 10:15 p.m., video from the NBC Bay Area helicopter showed protesters blocking lanes on Interstate 980 and Interstate 880 in Oakland. Police responded to the area to clear the traffic jam. But basically, they just started a gigantic fucking protest about this, and I'm like I said earlier, do you not fucking realize this guy tried to pull an armed robbery, you know?
Yeah.
Basically, what happened is it says, earlier in the day, Oakland police officer Joanna Watson said officers spotted a vehicle believed to be connected to a previous armed robbery at 2:30 in the afternoon in the area of 69th and International Boulevard. Officers attempted to pull the driver over, but he fled, leading police on a pursuit through Oakland city streets. An Oakland police helicopter tracked the car during the pursuit. The pursuit lasted about 7 miles until the suspect crashed into another car on 27th between Northgate Avenue and Martin Luther King Jr. Way. The suspect ran from the car, armed with a gun, and tried to carjack another driver. Arriving officers confronted the suspect, who reportedly advanced toward them with the gun. 3 officers opened fire, striking the suspect, according to Oakland Police Chief Sean Wendt. One of the officers attempted life-saving measures using a Depart-issued trauma kit. Now, I will say one thing. Cops are not EMT. I trained a little bit to be an EMT for a while until I couldn't take it anymore. It was obviously not the right job for me. But I know that from that, cops are not, they're not paramedics. So, you know, when they say life-saving measures, you know, there's not a whole lot they can fucking do. And when you're talking about advancing on 3 cops who have pulled their guns on you, they're just going to unload into you. So this poor fucking dude was probably turned into a goddamn piece of Swiss cheese. The thing is, you don't walk up to cops with a fucking gun. You know, it's like with the whole, who's that guy that was in Ferguson? That was Mike Brown, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like he went for the officer's gun. There are things you don't do. I'm sorry. It's fucked up. The guy's dead. Even with this guy, you know, the thing is, I'll say it's fucked up. He's dead. That's somebody's kid that's dead. I'm not going to argue that point that is fucked up. You just don't pull a gun on the cops or go up to them with a gun or try to charge them for their gun. You don't do it. They're trained to react a specific way, you know. And, you know, I'm sorry. If somebody came up to me with a gun and I was armed and I felt that they were going to try to kill me, guess what? Sorry, buddy. You know, I don't want to die because you have some fucked up problem with me or something like that. But basically, it goes on to say the suspect was subsequently taken to a hospital where he's pronounced dead, according to the police chief Wendt. The gun carried by the suspect was later determined to have been a loaded 9mm. It's like a shitty Glock ripoff. It looked like in the picture. It was listed as stolen, which, great, is also another thing against him, according to police. The police do not believe the suspect fired his weapon during the confrontation. And it really doesn't matter. You know, Cops will unload on you if you so much as just pull a gun up on them. You know, if you just so much as take it out of the holster and point it at them, that's enough for them to basically just to take you out, because they don't know what the fuck you're going to do. They can't read your fucking mind. There have been people who've been completely shredded when they pull a BB gun on somebody that looks real enough. It's called suicide by cop. Yeah, it says the guy was about 24 years old. He was an Oakland resident. The 3 officers involved in this afternoon's shooting have been identified only as a 7-year veteran, a 6-year veteran, and a 1-year veteran. Okay, I'm sorry, but 1 year is not enough to be a veteran. That's a rookie. So 1 year is barely any time at all on any job. Wednesday's incident is the Oakland Police Department's 3rd fatal officer-involved shooting in 2015, the department's 5th officer-involved shooting overall. Oakland Police Homicide and Internal Affairs units are investigating the shooting along with the Alameda County District Attorney's Office. That's the whole article. But like I said, you know, the guy tried to commit an armed robbery. You know, the guy carjacked he carjacked one person, attempted to carjack another, and then went up to the police with a gun. You can't martyr this dude. You can't hold him up and say, see, he's a martyr for our cause. No, I'm sorry. He was a fucking criminal. So, I mean, to protest about it just seems so stupid.
You know, it's weird how people react to it, and, you know, like I said, there's just certain things in situations that you just don't do, and that happened to be one of them. You don't charge for a gun. You don't point your. I mean, because like I said, you never know how someone's going to react to it. It's gonna, you know, sometimes it only takes a split second in order for something to go wrong. You even move an inch to a gun and think of even pulling it out, and your ass is going to be blasted. I mean, you know, I pretty much think that's got to be common sense. You got to at least think about what you do before. Yeah, it's thinking before you do. Because if you don't think, then, you know, sorry, I mean, it's curtains.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, you know, I don't know who thought it would be a great idea. I'm going to go run up to the cops with my gun out. Yeah, no, why don't you just run out to them with your dick out, and maybe they'll just tase you, okay? You know, maybe you'll get off a little easier. I don't know. That was a stupid joke. Anyway, the next one I want to come over, I'll get it pulled up here. This one, unfortunately, is from Fox News, but don't worry, it's nothing political, so, because, ugh. It says, J.J. Abrams won't direct another Star Wars film. I don't know how much I'll want him to return, because I haven't seen the new Star Wars movie yet. It doesn't come out till this holiday, but what was that?
Speaking of which, R2-D2 decided to say hello. Wow.
Yeah. Speaking of which, just randomly that happened.
I actually have the app.
It says, okay, let me get this thing muted because they have a video player on here, and I'm just going to read the article. It says, if you're looking for spoilers, J.J. Abrams is not the man to ask. We know the Resistance will fight the First Order, formerly known as the Empire, in Star Wars The Force Awakens. Han Solo Harrison Ford will be one of the lead characters, and he'll still pilot the Millennium Falcon with Chewie. Princess Leia will wield a lightsaber of her late father Darth Vader, and somehow newbies Rey and Finn, played by Daisy Ridley and John Boyega, will end up on the Falcon with the rest of the game. But basically that's all anyone knows. They go on to say in this article, Abrams did divulge some more details on The Force Awakens. Big bad Kylo Ren is like... God, who wrote this article? This is so hard to fucking read. Okay, let me try to summarize this, because apparently it was written by somebody who has, like, vision problems. Kylo Ren isn't even his real name. He is a character who came to the name Kylo Ren when he joined a group called the Knights of Ren. Ren is apparently a Darth Vader obsessive, hence the Vader-inspired outfit. The movie explains the origins of the mask and where it's from, but the design was meant to be a nod to the Vader mask. He is well aware of what's come before, and that's very much a part of the story of the film. The lightsaber is something that he built himself, and is as dangerous and as fierce and as ragged as the character. That said, he says that this won't be just Darth Vader 2.0. He's not your prototypical mustache-twirling bad guy. He isn't as fully formed as when we meet a character such as Darth Vader. I think there are two sides to the Force. Both sides, arguably, would see themselves as the hero of their story, and I think that applies here. So he's going to be like an anti-hero or something like that.
It's actually interesting. Kind of sounds like Revan.
Oh, Jesus Christ, this next one is almost getting me hard because I like Star Wars. Ren won't be alone fighting for the First Order. We learned that Gwendoline Christie's Captain Phasma and Domhnall Gleeson's General Hux will be a part of the dark side too, because he let slip that his character's base is called Star Killer. So I don't know what the point of decanonizing a lot of the expanded universe stuff is, because if they're going to do the whole thing about Star Killer in that, holy fuck, man. That's awesome.
Oh my god.
Just get the guy who played Star Killer in the video games and just put him in the movie, just a little bit older, or maybe another clone of him or something, like working, like who was put on the First Order side or something.
Yeah, because that's awesome.
Yeah.
These movies are going to be... Well, then that's great, because, I mean, you guys know, and I know about this too, I mean, that was an intense fucking storyline for Star Wars. Now, get back and make, what was it, 1313?
Yeah.
That they were going to make? Yeah. I really wanted...
Come on, Disney, just now. when I saw that game, the first part of it and everything, I'm like, wait, a Star Wars game where we're using a blaster instead of a lightsaber, and we're just a normal bounty hunter. When can I have this game, and can I marry it?
Yeah, well, I'm looking forward for Battlefront 2.
See, like, there's about two things I'm asking. It's actually about Luke Skywalker and Leia Skywalker. I'm not really sure where Leia Skywalker is. I mean, they did reference, like, she's wielding the sword of her father, Darth Vader, which that kind of sounds a little bit suspicious on that part when they're mentioning.
Well, from the way a lot of these movies look, like, I hope they explain it in these films. I really hope so, but... The thing is, I mean, it looks like just the whole fucking Star Wars world just fucking ended. You know, I mean, it just like apocalypse level shit happened. You know, because everything seems so desolate in these films. It goes on in this to say, Abrams' first Star Wars film will also be his last. He says, I'm the temporary captain of this ship that George Lucas built. I'm not going to direct episode, the next one that comes in, because... But I am much deeply envious of anyone who gets to work with this group of people on future films. And that kind of sucks, like, because if he... I mean, I'm not going to lie, he did pretty good with the Star Trek movies. I like those movies. Everybody complained about the lens flare, and even I did a little bit, but he learned from the second one. He didn't have as much of that shit there.
Oh, dude, I mean, that just reminded me, like, I'm pretty sure, like, I'm crossing my fingers that Boba Fett does come back in this, because even in the comics, I mean, he lived to be about, what, 70 years old? I mean,
yeah. Well, they decanonized a lot of stuff from the expanded universe and a lot of the backstories of certain characters and shit, because Boba Fett actually has a kid of his own, and he has a daughter, too, I think. And he actually got married to someone that was seeing someone at some point. So he has other children that kind of followed in his footsteps. So, and he has a crazy-ass backstory.
Pretty much with the whole entire like Star Wars thing, the only things that I know that are now canon is the original trilogy, the prequels, Star Wars: The Clone Wars cartoon, both of them, and Star Wars Rebels. And there was already a clone in the cartoon Clone Wars, the CGI one, who he basically broke off from it and had kids with a Twi'lek. That's all I know of.
Yeah, no, this was from what I read, because there's a thing called Wikipedia. It's literally the Star Wars wiki for all that shit.
Yeah.
And I read on there that no, it wasn't the Twi'lek race where they have the things coming off the back of their heads.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was with a regular, like a human, one of the human races or whatever.
Oh, Boba Fett got with one of her. I was talking about one of the clone troopers.
Oh, okay. I wasn't paying any attention.
Yeah, it was like
only my show, and I'm not paying attention to it.
Let's see.
Oh shit.
Because hopefully they don't.
Oh shit. Somebody named Marty. Somebody named Marty shared my Fuck Vegan Gains video on Vegan Gains' actual page.
Oh, damn.
On Facebook. I'm checking this shit out. Oh, not Vegas gains. Vegas loses. Vegas makes you lose all your fucking money. I tried gambling there. They're actually There's actually certain casinos you can go to. The odds are better on those machines, but it's usually the ones old people go to die in.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I think I usually get lucky in the Rio.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, with the Monopoly machine. That's my #1 machine.
You know what?
Holy shit. How many fucking views has my video gotten, dude? There are like multiple people who have shared this on his page.
Okay, I gotta check this shit out.
About 3,000.
Yeah, you gotta go. Oh wow, that's not bad. It's gonna definitely climb in the next few days. Then
Oh yeah.
I see Justin's post on here,
I just should tell.
and then I see Andrew's post on here too.
I see.
But yeah, there's been 2 posts of mine on there. The first one was done by a guy named Marty, and then the next one was done by a guy named Jeffrey. I'm not gonna give his last name, but yeah.
My friend who's a YouTuber posted it here. My friend Colton, he posted it here too.
Oh wow. Actually, I should unlike those posts from my. I'm gonna actually unlike those posts because I was just stupid. I don't want this asshole finding anything about me out. So I'm gonna unlike the post because I was dumb enough to like them with my actual page.
You know who Vegan Gains reminds me of from the face and everything?
A serial killer.
No. He kind well that yes, but just from the face and everything, he kind of looks like Venom Fang X.
A little bit. He's got that same irritating monotone voice going on, you know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like so, my parents were like flipping out and shit, and you know they were all upset and all that because I happened to film my grandfather while he's having a heart attack.
Yeah, you know they were like really upset and shit, you know, because I wanted to take advantage of their loved one dying. And I don't think it's right because they have such a shit diet, you know. Fuck these people for having emotions. If you want to eat vegan correctly, you need to just blank out all of your emotions and jack off to child porn snuff films. Oh gosh,
Jesus.
Child snuff.
It's. I don't know what's worse, him trying to profit off his grandfather's death, or Josh Fierstein trying to profit off everything.
Oh, Josh
Fierstein existing is bad enough, especially with his contingency to look like Fred Durst.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. Dude, I never even came to that thought about Fred Durst and Josh Fierstein. I never even came to that.
It's like
the red backwards cap.
Nah, you reminded me of someone else for some reason.
He kind of reminds me of Jabba the Hutt.
Oh gosh.
That or
be my solo, Christian solo. Donate money to my church. He's a scammer. He's like all the guys out here who own all these huge mega churches and stuff. Well, Justin, you probably know something about this stuff because I mean you lived out on this side of the world too for a bit.
Yeah.
I mean you see churches like this all the fucking time, where they're less about Christianity and they're more about making a whole fuckload of money.
Yeah.
You know, they don't give a fuck about if you donate for a fair liberal cause or anything like that benefits people. It's more about, you know, donate money so we can put more stupid shit in our giant amphitheater church.
Oh, it doesn't even just stop there. I mean, it even goes farther with all these other pastors. They actually have private jets. They have mansions now, too. I mean, you can go see interviews on this shit, and they'll deny everything. They'll just, they'll skip the interviews, but you get to actually see that stuff that they have. And
yeah,
they're just question.
Yeah, they're doing the Jim Baker thing, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
The Jim and Tammy Faye Baker thing. That's what Josh Fierstein does. It's the same shit.
Yeah.
And then he got called out on it by a guy, and he didn't really know what the fuck to say.
Basically, Josh Fierstein is just like, hey, I can do whatever I want. I'm trying to spread the word of the Lord. It's like, no, you're saying how Jade Helm is somehow a freaking, I don't know, some type of military takeover because you don't like Obama. He blames Obama for abortion. He blames Obama. I think he blames Obama for being a lard ass. Because
yeah, he's insane. Jade Helm is actually just a training thing. in case anybody was to try to pull some next level shit on our country, they're using this Jade Helm thing as a way to train soldiers to prepare for it.
I actually made a bet with a guy saying if nothing happens by September, he owes me $200. He took the deal.
Oh, well, he's a genius.
Yeah, it's like, what? Something's gonna happen in September. Hey, nothing happened. You owe me $200, buddy. Here's my PayPal.
Right.
He's like, you better get me a shitload of Spawn comics, or you better get me something that's really good, like a video game or something.
You better give me
all the rare X-Men comics I want. Otherwise, no.
My family went out to California and they recently came back and they sent me all the stuff they got me, and they got me like a bunch of Batman and DC Comics stuff. One of them was like this Black Canary poster for the new comics and everything, and another was, it's right behind me on my door. There is the schematics of the GCPD Batman suit.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I was just like, well, I guess I have that now. It took forever to find a place to hang that stuff. I mean, I was going through all this stuff, like, they went to a comic shop. I'm not sure if it's the one from Comic Book Men. If it's that one, I'm like, why didn't you get me more shit from there? Because they, like, brought me back, like, a figure, like, a 2015 figure art from Kamen Rider and everything, which is pretty cool. Like, those things, I can't even find one for a good price, but they found one there, like, for $40 and everything. So, it's just, like, comic stuff and Kamen Rider.
Craziest show ever. Kamen Rider is the craziest show ever.
It is. I love it.
I love that show.
Ghost looks awesome. They just showed off the new one for 2015 to 2016. Ghost, and he's just like, it's kind of like, imagine what happens if Danny Phantom and Kill la Kill had a love baby. Because
wow.
It's like that. Apparently, like, this belt, I've heard rumors like the belt for the season is even alive too, and like he's a dead dude like trying to save people from these monsters from another dimension. And I'm like, I'm buying stuff from this world. I know I skipped Drive, but I'm buying this stuff. I just want to have like little glass eyes in my room just to freak out family when they're over.
Oh, that's fucking awesome.
Speaking of anime and all that, I hear they're actually coming out with Sword Art Online Underworld now. I'm
good, about time.
Wait, what?
Yeah, they got Sword Art Online coming out with Underworld. They actually have the art they're going to actually continue on to it, so I'm dying to see that.
Nice.
Well, good. It's about fucking time. I actually like Sword Art Online because I've already watched the first season of it.
Damn.
Justin, we can barely hear you, buddy.
Okay, hold on. This thing is like freaking out on me.
Oh, okay. That's something else you were playing?
Yeah, it just automatically came on. I was trying to read something, but all of a sudden the video started playing, and I was like, damn it, shut up. Oh, well, I'll read it later. But, okay, they actually have the video game for Lost Song, which is, you can actually pre-order it on PlayStation 4. So I'm very stoked for that, too, so I'm going to try to see if I can download that. Same thing with Mortal Kombat X. I want to get that so bad. I'm dying for it.
I need a PS4. I mean, the last game I'm buying pretty much this year for my Xbox is Metal Gear Solid 5. And I think that's going to be like the last thing I buy from Konami ever again.
Because the whole issues that they're having.
Yeah, on how they treat their fucking their employees and everything. I want to get into the gaming market and everything, and I wouldn't even be a third-party developer for Konami. And they can come to me like, hey, we'd like your idea for your video games. We'd love for you to work with us. I'd be like, yeah, no, I think I'm good, okay? I can probably, get a Kickstarter up and everything and make it from there.
Actually, speaking of Konami, I mean, they actually have a business corporation area, just like not too far, but it's just like right around the corner from where I live. It's like right by the strip, and it's still there too. Yeah, like I never even noticed before. When I first came by before, I never knew it was like very far based out. But like when I flew out to Texas, I didn't realize that it was just right around the corner from where I live. Like it's literally 5 minutes away from where I lived. I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. I thought it was like a drive that you had to go all the way out to, but it's right around the corner from my fucking house.
Nice.
All right.
What is that monkey really want?
The next game that I'm excited to get is obviously it's going to be Doom 4, but I'm not excited about what they're doing. They have this thing in the game called Snap Map, and it's like a level builder. And the more we find out about this, the more it fucking sounds like it's just an afterthought. Like, modding has kept the original game alive for so long. I mean, you know, let's face it, Brutal Doom inspired them. I didn't want to say that first, but the way they're handling it, I'll say it. It sounds like it inspired them to put like fatalities and shit in the game where you can like break necks and all this other stupid shit. They have a thing called Snap Map that's basically it's a level it's like a game mode builder. But apparently you can't make anything with this fucking thing except like, you know, like one big area with connecting corridors. You can't make outdoor areas with it. You can't really do anything with it. And it's like, okay, what's the point of this? You know, I don't like that. If I want to make something for a game like that, I want to have the tools to really do it right. That's why there were so few mods for Doom 3. Because like it's such a pain in the ass to work with. They should make something more streamlined or do something like that to keep people interested in modding the game. That's what everybody was expecting when they said it was a return to the roots. That's what people like me were expecting because I make maps and shit for Doom all the time.
Yeah.
I'm excited though for every other aspect of it because it looks like a brutal as fuck game.
Didn't you do the gameplays for like the hardcore version play of Doom?
What do you mean?
I think you used to have like some footage when you used to play Doom. It was like it's not really like the slow versions like I would play, but like it was like the full fast versions.
I have a couple videos of me playing Brutal Doom on my channel.
Oh.
They have one.
Okay,
they have a new. Yeah, he's got a mod for it where you can carry 2 plasma rifles like Rambo style. Dual wield the motherfuckers. I got a video of that.
And you can give them the finger.
Yeah, you can. You can actually taunt them with other things too. I gotta remember what the bind keys for it are. You can make them say all kinds of crazy shit. It's fucking hilarious because that's according to one of the guys who built the game originally. That's how he wanted it to be. He wanted it to be crazy like that, except they were constrained by computers at the time. Actually, speaking of, I'm going to be doing a video sometime, either this coming week or the next week after. Somebody actually made public a version of the 3rd version of the game that was ever put together. It's like not even an alpha. You know, it's just them putting ideas together for it. And it's actually a really cool little thing. I mean, it's like they've got much different weapons. There's a really cool effect, like when you're standing there idle, you know, the screen actually goes up and down a little bit from you breathing. And little things like that, like instead of the bar at the bottom of the screen, it's like a full screen heads-up display as well. Yeah. And it has a functioning map system in it, so like the more you walk around the level, the more it uncovers on that map, which is also really cool. I might be putting a video of me playing that up in the next few weeks, so look forward to that. Anyways, I think we pretty much discussed all that I wanted to discuss this week on here, and now I'm going to start answering some people's questions in here. So let me get the stream all pulled up in the comment section.
If only I had a Q theme song to put in here. Oh well. And survey says...
A guy asks, Mario Man 64 asks, what are your thoughts on the girl who... the girl found dead in her... okay. What are your thoughts on the police incident with the girl found dead in her cell? If you're referencing the girl that hung herself after she was arrested by police, it was because she was going to do a whole lot of different political things that she killed herself, I think it was. That she wanted to make a statement by doing it. You know, she got caught with like some drugs on her, and I think there were kids in a car or something along them lines. And my thoughts on it is, look, you know what? Could have gone down so much differently. You didn't have to fucking kill yourself. Okay, I don't see how that benefited your cause in any way, shape, or form. You know, if you want to make a statement, hanging yourself is not exactly the best way to do it. But also, I'm not very informed on the full details of that story, so I'm not going to make 100% commentation on it. I only know that much, and I think it's kind of stupid. Wolfbane Kiru asks, what are your thoughts on the new Godzilla 2016 movie? Well, I'll have to see it. judging by this guy's awesome fucking logo on his channel, you're a fan of Godzilla movies because you have Mecha Godzilla. You actually have my favorite one. He has got Karyu, or Kiru, or however the fuck you say it. He's got the one from one of the newer Mecha Godzilla films. I think it was from like 2002 or 2003. But I'm excited. I'm excited. I like the fact they're going to have Rodan in it. He's a badass. I also like the fact they're going to be moving away from kind of something that irritated me about the first film, and that was that they focused too much on the people's story. You know, it was cool they had Bryan Cranston in it. He's awesome. And the other actors and actresses, they were good. It's just, when you go see a Godzilla movie, you want to see monsters beating the shit out of stuff. You don't really care too much about drama. Because even in the Japanese ones, that was kind of an afterthought. Because other than the Godzilla stuff, they were all kind of just goofy and hokey movies, you know?
They did somewhat make up for that when they actually show the awesome scream and moves that Godzilla did. I mean, it's one of the things I will say, and I'm pretty psyched for the upcoming next movie. But like, they did kind of make up for it, but like, I don't think it was quite enough, but it was still good. I mean, to end off on a good note.
I'm wondering when they're putting Mothra in.
Oh yeah, well they're actually going to be putting Mothra in the next one, I think.
Also, just want to say, Will Smith as Ultraman.
God.
Hey, he said he would love playing Ultraman. I would love to see him as Ultraman.
The next movie is gonna be awesome because the rumor is it's King Ghidorah, Rodan, and Mothra all in the same film.
Oh boy.
That's gonna be like that. I would love to see that for real because I'm like, how does humanity like cope with this? Because it's not Japan getting its ass handed to it by these monsters anymore. It's like a worldwide thing, and that's what I like. I mean, like, you know, I want to see in the second one, too, how did humanity cope with the fact that there is a fucking 400-foot-tall dinosaur still living, and, oh shit, Godzilla's real. Oh, shit.
One thing I did forget to mention, Stevie, like, because, of course, obviously, because we've seen the new Godzilla movie, but, like, what do they call those antagonists? Mutos or whatever?
Yeah, Mutos. Massive underground terrestrial organism or something like that.
I call them and they actually happen to be in Las Vegas. And the funny part about
I thought it was great.
Oh yeah,
it was fucking great when it stomped through. What was it? Caesar's Palace. It stomped through.
Oh my gosh! And it was going straight for the McCarran Airport. I was like, yes, go to where I work. Go to where I work. Crush the fuck out of it.
Go to where I work. I was happy at that scene because there's a lot of people that I'm not friends with anymore back there because they burn bridges with me pretty badly. And during that scene, I'm like, you know, if this were really happening, I'd be happy because a lot of these people would probably be dead. Crushed. I love that, though. They sit there and they're wondering, oh, the lights are out. And then the ceiling comes off. And then it takes them a minute. I'm like, you heard shit getting destroyed outside. And at no point, your question popped up in your mind that, should we still be sitting here? Yeah.
I think at that moment when like Godzilla and those monsters attack America, I think both sides, like the Avengers and like the Japanese heroes, just get together like, okay, I think we need to save the world. Who here knows how to fight monsters?
Right.
It's like everyone looks at the writers in the Sentai and Thor, just like, we're not doing that. No.
Right. This one goes to Rox. Is that the TARDIS painting from Doctor Who?
Yeah, it is.
Awesome. Oh, that is actually cool. I didn't notice that before.
Yeah, like right there.
That's a really cool ass fucking painting. I didn't notice that before. I thought it was just like some random like impressionist piece, but now that I take a look at it, I can see it.
Yeah, I got it a couple years back when I lived with my mom.
Deathbat6916 asks, do you still stand by that view that Repsion didn't get raped? I've kind of revised my view on that over time. Like, that was a really harsh video I did where I thought he was bullshitting about it. The thing is, nowadays, I know you can't always go by assumption unless it's just glaring and in your fucking face. You know, I mean, if I still have that video up, I'll take it and private it because, like, I was actually just thinking about this, ironically, earlier today. And, you know, I don't like when people do shit like that on my videos. And, I mean, it was kind of an asshole-ish move. Because, I mean, if you don't know the full story, you don't know. You can't fucking go up there and say, oh, see, this guy's crying fucking wolf because, you know, you sound and look like an absolute shit when you do that. So, no, I don't really fully stand by it anymore. Because, I mean, as time goes on, you kind of revise your views on things, and you mellow out your perceptions on things, and you can't always be so knee-jerk about people. It's not right. It really isn't. With the Onion Boy stuff, I mean, it's so in your face as to what's going on because he makes no illusions about it. I mean, anyone can assume, and it's like, throwing stones in a pond. They're gonna fucking land somewhere, But with somebody that goes up and they put a video like the one he put up that I commentated on a long time ago, it's just like even like a lot of my own subscribers were like, yeah, that was pretty shitty, dude. Then another person asks, Brooklyn T asks, when is the Judith cover coming out? When I fucking finally get a vocal take of it that I like. I'm actually doing a cover of Judith by A Perfect Circle. It'll be coming out when I finally nail the vocals on it. I mean, I put up a little preview of it of weeks and weeks ago, and that's not an easy song to sing. Anything with Maynard on it is not easy at all. So when I get that nailed perfectly, I'll put it up, but it's not easy. I'm not going to do what I did with that demo that Lackland commented on, where I'm just going to throw my first take on and go, oh, you don't understand my art, fuck you. No, it sucks, actually. That's the problem. Let's see. I don't know what the point of these select things is. I'm trying to get these clicked off. They say select on here when they get questions pointed on the side. So, Fut Mike, that's an interesting channel name. Fut Mike. Apparently, it's a mic for futting into. He asks, "I saw Metallica and Iron Maiden live. I feel sorry for you." Well, you rub it in. Rub it in. Go ahead. Let it run.
Damn you! I will smite you to the bowels of hell. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway.
I was gonna offer you my gunblade to use.
Nah, that's not cool. Good view, man. I mean that like with sincerity.
Okay, this Deathbat guy's got a whole bunch of questions in here, so I'm gonna answer some of his. Are you bringing back Stevie Listens? I'm always gonna keep doing Stevie Listens. I'm just not gonna keep doing it on YouTube. The problem with doing it on YouTube is because I have to actually, listen to the song and let you guys hear it too, is copyright. Facebook doesn't give really much of a shit, so I'm just going to put those on Facebook because I don't like always having to worry about getting a copyright strike on my channel. I don't like having that. And he also asks, and this is to Justin, has there ever been a time in which you've been disappointed in Metallica?
Well, of course, with every fan, there is going to be a disappointment, and understandably enough, yes, I have. But when time comes, you start to understand. There's certain things that you really shouldn't just stray on. And
what were you disappointed with about him?
Like Lars Ulrich when he admitted about why the bass thing was kind of turned down on Jason Newsted.
I don't know much about all that.
It's a long story to go with, but like after reading about it, it was just Lars Ulrich, obviously, it's enough. It's just more than enough to explain everything, but he just had
a problem with the guy, basically, and turned his bass down?
I'm guessing so, but I guess one of the problems, I guess I could say, is that, and yeah, I'm actually going to say that, there was problems with the Saint Anger albums, but the album, I'm sorry, I don't know where the S came from, sorry, but, understandably enough, I know what those problems were caused by, there's multiple things, but, me going off then, I'm disappointed with certain other things, but also I have an understanding of why, sometimes things turn out to be. I'm also disappointed in the fact that I've never even met Metallica face-to-face, which I've always wanted to, and still to this day I'm going to try, but, yeah, the main thing I'm mostly disappointed about is what Lars Ulrich admitted on the... And one of the things I was shocked enough about was the whole Justin Bieber thing. I'm not sure if anyone remembers that. I guess, yeah.
The Justin Bieber thing, oh my.
Yeah, being fans of Justin... First of all, I don't even care if that's true or not, but, it was like, eh. I was a tad bit disappointed, but like at the same time, you know, I really didn't give a fuck at the time.
Okay, let's see his next question. And then he's got one more after this. Did you ever post a video of you reacting to Miss May I on your Facebook? I don't really know what all that is about, actually. I have no idea what Miss May I, who or what that is all about. So, I mean, if you could tell me a little bit more about what this Miss May I thing was, dude, then I'm all ears. Because I'm like, if you mean like that there's a post on my Facebook, I mean, I don't see anybody posting anything like under that name, so I don't know what the fuck it is. Can you still rage like you did in your Onion Boys shit? I don't really want to focus too much on being constantly pissed off all the time. It's a big pain in the ass. It really is. I mean, once you get, you know, overtly mad about certain topics and stuff, you know, over time, it just, you kind of burn yourself out, you know? And it's just something you can't keep always putting yourself through. Sorry if you hear things adjusting my mic again.
That's all right.
That's right.
I got fucking hit my volume thing on it again. Anyway, like, for all the years that I did that stuff, you know, I mean, to say that it wasn't causing problems in like personal relationships with people because I was just focused so much on that. I mean, I would be lying to say that it didn't cause problems. You know, to always fucking focus on the negative of people is just, it's not a good thing. It's not healthy. That's why I'm trying to do the album reviews now. And that's why I'm trying to branch out into other territories. Like months and months and months ago, I did a tutorial, not really a tutorial video, but while I was working on a new track for some of the electronic music stuff I did, I decided to do that as a stream. I think it's more interesting for people to see a different side of me than it is to see the same thing they've always known. You know, when I put up videos of my music, they don't exactly get the same amount of hits that my rants do. And, you know, I kind of wish that people would look at that stuff a little more, because it's like, it's a different side to me. And people always, they get this impression that I'm this angry, pissed off curmudgeon all the time, and you guys will agree that that's not true. Everyone that knows me agrees it's not true. In fact, one of my friends out here, when I finally got to meet him in person when I moved here, was kind of blown away by how mellow and quiet I was, because he'd been so used to seeing me fucking rage online about stuff. He's like, "Are you sure you're the same person?" It's true. It's true. So to always focus on the anger shit and always focus on the rage shit now. I mean, if somebody does something that legitimately pisses me the hell off, you know, then yeah. You know.
I mean, like I said, I could feel on that, man.
Well, I think you guys can understand where I'm coming from, though, about it. You know?
Yeah, definitely.
That's how you know your water bottle is low. It sounds like a queef. And he asks, in regards to the Miss May I thing, it's a band. I remember a year ago asking you to do a Stevie Listens To on that band. Oh, well, then I'll check him out. Christina Heiskers. Sorry if I can't pronounce your name, but I think your name is Christina Heisers. Asks, now that I got the thing in front of it, there we go. Asks, what are my thoughts on the Cecil the Lion controversy? I hope they fry this bastard for doing that. You know, people can trivialize it like, well, it's just, you know, a lion. Human beings' lives are more important. Guess what? There are only so many fucking lions left in the damn world. Okay? And if people out there don't understand how insane it is for our own entertainment to arbitrarily exterminate an entire species of creature, you know, they can't see how ridiculous that is, then, you know what, fuck people like that, for real. You know, what this guy did was awful. I mean, you guys have heard about this, obviously, I'm sure. Yeah, I mean, he took it out of a fucking lion preserve. They found the damn thing, lured it out of a preserve, which means they knew that they shouldn't be shooting the fucking thing, and then shot it with an arrow, which didn't kill it. And then they tracked it for like another 12 to 14 hours or something again, and then shot it with a gun. And I don't even understand, like, how the fuck can you take entertainment from this? You know, how is that fun? Like, oh, I killed a living creature. Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, you and Mr. Gaines over there can hang out, and you can be sociopaths together, because I'll be over here puking that people in this world are so unsatisfied with their lives that murdering shit is now apparently their entertainment. Because they really brutalized this fucking lion. They didn't just shoot it and then said, oh, fuck yeah, I killed an animal. No, when they found out what he was, and that he was a protected animal, they tried to cut his collar off by taking his head off, and then they skinned the damn thing and just let the body to rot. You know, I'm like, that's fucking horrible. You know, what if somebody just fucking hunted your ass down in the suburbs, dude, and did that to you? You wouldn't feel too happy about it. You know, a lot of people say, well, you're a hypocrite because you're a meat eater. And I'm like, dude, it's not a matter of that. It's a matter of I know where the fuck my food comes from, and I'm not so stupid I can't see that there's a difference in what this bastard did, what happens in fucking farming. I get it. Maybe some of these people don't, but I do. You know? Anyway, you guys were saying, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, there you go, man. You're good.
I was gonna say, like when I hear people say, like, oh, you're saying it's wrong, but you eat meat, it's like, okay, if you're gonna go hunting, hunt something that you're gonna eat. Don't hunt something just because you have a thing about compensating. That's what I gotta say about this.
Oh yeah, and actually, yeah, Rox actually reminded me to bring up another point, is that, you know, there's overpopulation too. I mean, there's certain animals like deer that overpopulate the areas. You know, how do you control this overpopulation? Well, there's a solution. It's not out of sport, but like, hey, you know, there's food right there, and you can also help, you know, with a population stance. I mean, if I have an overpopulation of deer coming traveling through a neighborhood, eating the stuff out of my garbage, or, you know, taking a crap on my lawn, that would piss me off. Well, gotta do something.
Yeah. No, yeah. You know.
And I don't advocate murder of animals.
No, it's like with the deer population out here. I mean, you know, a lot of people, they see the deer around their houses and stuff, and they think it's cute and all. And I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of cool, but you got to also think, you know, that means that somebody's not been doing a lot of the proper hunting because of the populations of them increased too much. Well, then you deal with like fucking 3 or 4 of these damn things in the morning, staring right into your fucking house, walking all over the parking lot out here, and getting out into the main road, and causing a bunch of accidents and shit. So, I mean, I understand there's a necessity to hunting, but this trophy hunting shit is so stupid. I don't see what people get out of it. Like that Kendall Jones bitch, man, fuck her. Man, she's such a cunt for doing what she does for real. And I have no problem saying that she's a fucking bitch. You're a fucking bitch for what you're doing. I did a video. Yeah, I massacred her ass in a video, man. When I found out, you know, at first what?
Did she recently kill a giraffe?
Yeah, I think she did. I think she killed a very, very fucking rare species of giraffe too. And that's the thing. You know, these people don't give a shit. You know, they sit there, oh, it's really nice. I killed a very rare species of giraffe. You don't see many of these in the world. No, you don't. I wonder fucking why. Maybe it's because of guys like you tool. You know. Anyway, Deathbat asks, have you ever bought a band's album and then subsequently they're in the news for some negative shit and you regret buying it? Like, for real, I bought the 3 5-figure Death Punch albums and now Ivan's being interrogated with some wife-beating shit. Oh, yeah, did you guys hear about this?
No, I saw it on Facebook, but I never read the article.
Okay, let me pull it up really quick. But basically, the guy for 5-Finger Death Punch, the singer Ivan Moody, is basically he's been arrested for beating the shit out of his wife. And I mean, like, beating the shit out of her. He put her in a fucking chokehold and then punched her in the stomach a whole bunch of times because she accused him of cheating on her. And I'm like, great, so you've basically become full circle for your genre of douchebag metal. Like, in all seriousness, there are only 2 songs I like by this band. Because I didn't like the way they had kind of that persona.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, this is from loudwire.com. Unfortunately, there's more troubling news concerning 5-Finger Death Punch singer Ivan Moody. A day after TMZ reported his wife filed divorce papers and accused him of domestic violence, the website is now reporting his sister and other relatives have sought restraining orders against him. In this news story, TMZ reports that Moody's sister Sandra Dykes sought and was granted restraining orders against the Five Finger Death Punch frontman in September 2014 for her and her 2 children. According to documents that TMZ has seen, Dykes alleged that Moody would get violent when drinking or doing drugs. Apparently, Moody made threats towards Dykes, and as well as his own mother and daughter. Wow, what a fucking nice guy. Accusing them all of taking his money. TMZ goes on to say that Dykes revealed that her mother and niece were filing their own restraining orders against Moody. As stated, this news comes after TMZ revealed that Moody's wife, Holly Smith, had filed for divorce, claiming domestic violence in her court papers. But basically, okay, this is something else, but basically what he did is he basically got accused of cheating on her, and he basically beat the fuck out of her. He put her in a chokehold, he punched her in the stomach, and then he got arrested for it. And I'm just like, well, your career's fucking done. But in regards to this guy's question, yeah, I've actually bought albums from bands that ended up in shit like that, and I kind of regret it. Like, I used to actually like Lost Prophets. I mean, I thought they actually had a couple of decent songs. You know, there were a couple of tracks they did that I thought were actually pretty good. And then the whole Ian Watkins things happened, and I wanted to fucking puke. You know, because it's just like, holy shit. I mean, the guy wanted to literally fuck babies. Like, I don't know. You guys saw my video on that, I'm sure. Oh, yeah. You probably know.
Yeah, I have.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, oh, good Lord. I mean, like, and it was mind-blowing because, you know, I knew the guy was he looked like a tweaker. You know, a lot of these guys, for whatever reason, you know, you get in a band, apparently to be successful, you got to be a heroin addict, too. I don't know, it's like prerequisite, but I mean, he looked like a tweaker, but I didn't think he was a baby fucker. Oh man. Oh man. Oh, it was just made me regret ever liking their music. You know, it made me regret ever digging them as a band. You should see like the like to dislike ratio on all their fucking videos now too. It's just destroyed. They used to have like millions of hits and stuff, and it was just like tens of thousands of likes, and now it's hundreds of thousands of dislikes. You know.
Even with a new singer?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, have they released anything with a new singer?
I don't know. I was just hypothetically asking.
I don't know. I don't know. I haven't checked out them in a while.
Actually, no. Let me search it out.
Really quick, I'll answer this question. Greg Welts asks, did you know that Robert Cassio flags people's accounts for bullying him when they made videos on him, and even got a 12-year-old boy's account terminated because he made a video on him? Well, thankfully I've got a decent arrangement with my partnership network, so I don't really have to worry about that, and to be honest, you know, that's some pretty vindictive crap. I mean, for a fucking 12-year-old kid just fucking around on YouTube. Now, the crazy thing is you have to be like 13 to be on YouTube, but it's neither here or there. I mean, you know, to be that vindictive about a 12-year-old, look, you know, when you've done in your life what this guy has done, okay, people can say whatever the fuck they want about me. I've done my fair share of shitty things in my life, but when you've done what he's done, you know, I'm sorry, that's indefensible. You know, I mean, with a 13-year-old kid, too. So I don't really give too much of a fuck, you know, that he flags people's accounts.
He actually tried to explain himself to me when I said he was a fucking piece of shit. He's like, you don't know the full story. Maybe I made that up and everything. And I'm like, really? You made up?
He does it all the time, too, from what I've read. You were saying?
It's like, Robert Cassio, he's a fucking piece of shit. He's going around acting like he's the victim, when no, he's one of the people who causes victims, because, you know what, I know I might get some backlash for it, but I think fucking pedophiles should be put on, like, some type of hunting ground, and people just, you know, just cap them just because well, they're fucking rapists.
Yeah, they take away something a kid can never get back. You fuck up their innocence and stuff. Yeah. You know, I mean, I've heard the tapes of, you know, even like of NAMBLA members trying to like explain their position, where they're like, oh, you know, these kids, they're happy, they understand it more than you get, and I'm like, Not really. You know, they're fucking kids. You don't know anything about that fucking crap. I mean, maybe in today's degenerate society, you know, where, you know, they want to advertise sex all over everything, kids might know that there's this thing called sex and that it exists. But to take advantage of that limited knowledge, that's where people get the problem with it, and it fucks kids up for life. It really does. It spawns more abusers and shit. Definitely. It just perpetuates a cycle of fucked up shit.
Yeah.
Right. Deathbat asks, liberal or conservative? I'm an independent. I don't want to weigh myself down to one particular party or another, to be really honest. And the reason for that is if you do that, you know, then you have to end up defending something you might not really want to defend politically, you know. So I just try not to weigh myself down to one party or another.
Same here.
Mike, go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm fucking walking all over people here.
I'm saying stay with me. Well, I've been an independent ever since, you know, a long time ago. I came up with my own views, had my own independent thoughts as opposed to Democratic and Republican views. It's all good. Yeah.
Mike Faust asked, I think it's funny how Robert Castillo has a picture of himself in front of the White House. Really?
Is it thunder outside? Shit.
I didn't know he had a picture of himself in front of the White House.
How did he get even near the White House?
I have no idea. I have no fucking idea.
I think Robert Castillo and Josh Duggar might be part of the same club.
Oh, God, right? Yeah. You know, that Josh Duggar thing really blew my mind, too, because it's like... It's like, you know, you went to a fucking church to get rehabilitation for this, which, you know, is ridiculous because you were accused of fucking one of your family members, you know, and... you know, that's your response, to go to a church and get help, an organization that's always accused of pedophilia. Yeah, and they don't investigate the church. Yeah, I always thought that was funny.
Yeah. I mean, Megyn Kelly did a interview with them, and the fucking parents were like, we didn't know what was going on. She was just a kid. He didn't mean to. Right. And yet, I know a guy from high school. I basically lost contact with him ever since this news came out about him, who's now on the sexual predator list because he tried to molest girls in my old high school.
Oh,
holy shit.
Yeah,
that's
it's just
a fun thing to find out about somebody.
Yeah, well, he was already a piece of shit anyway.
It's just kind of reminds me. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Rafa.
It's just like, you know, everyone's saying, oh, you know, God forgave him. Why can't anybody else? It's like, yes, a deity might forgive him, but that doesn't mean he can get away with something. That's like...
How do you ostensibly know, too, that God has forgiven him? You know, you're just kind of making that assumption.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like, isn't there like a special place for hell for people like him? I think it's called in Cerberus' stomach.
Yeah. All right, this is the last question I'm going to ask because we've been going for about 3 hours now. So after this, I'll let you guys do the plugs and promotions for your channels and stuff, and then I'll wrap it up. But Grim Reaper 7 asks, do I think magic is real? No. Not exactly. Science, you know, back in the day when people were doing alchemy and stuff, they were doing science without realizing it was fucking science. So I believe in that. But magic, nope. Okay, so that basically wraps up the Q&A for now. So if you guys want to plug your channels and stuff, go right on ahead.
Man, you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. Well, my channel, I just started a new channel. It's Rocksteno. I'll put a link on Stevie's Facebook page for anybody who wants to check it out. I am working on some videos for it. I also have a Tumblr, which again, it's Rocksteno. And I'm going to be at a con this weekend, and if you live in Florida and you're going to Anime Fest, hey, just say hi or whatever.
Right on.
Awesome. All right. And, of course, I'm Thrash Metal Guru. If you guys want to check my channel out, I got some stuff that I talk about. I mean, it's, you know, come if you want. If you don't want to come, that's fine. I also got an Instagram as well, Thrash Metal Guru Jazz, and it's really not that original for my my channel. But if you guys want to follow me on that as well, feel free to go right ahead. And like I said, I'm actually thankful for an audience that I have, and I'm thankful for being a part of this as well. And I am damn happy to spend some time with some of my cool bros.
Awesome, awesome. And as for me, you guys already know a lot of the stuff I do. It's included in the description box, and don't worry, I'll include links to their stuff as well down there. Anyway, I thank everybody for checking out the show today. I hope you enjoyed it. We're going to be back next week with a whole bunch of crazy stuff. We're probably going to be shooting for next week Sunday, so around like 5, 6, or 7 o'clock. So throughout the week, I'm going to get that a little more planned out. Because what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get it so that everybody's on the same schedule, so this is a lot easier to do in the future. But anyway, until then, thanks for showing up. Thanks for checking it out. I hope you all have a great, great, great weekend. And, yeah, take it easy.
Take it easy, guys.
Yep.
Bye.